Well, welcome everybody. I'm Mr. Mike, and you are listening to the GamezAttack podcast here on OldFreakyGamer.com. This is episode 24, as I'm calling this episode, A Dark Industry. Welcome, one and all. I hope I sound good. I hope I'm not too blown out or not loud enough. I've been adjusting some settings on my microphone and software and stuff after I did that whole PC clean out and stuff, and dusting and replugging and everything. And so, everything always changes, settings, all that, because, that's how USB works. Nothing's ever saved to the settings that they are. And of course, I got something in my eye right when I'm trying to talk, because why would it go any other way? Anywho, as you can tell by the show title of this podcast, of this program, we're going to be talking about the industry. The industry as a whole, the dark industry. If you've been underneath a rock, or you're just not into the industry part of gaming and stuff, you might going to want to skip a bunch of this show, because we're going to talk about it, because, shit's been still going on. The industry's still in a shambles, as you would say. Yeah, sure, games are still sort of coming out. Some better than others, more broken than others still. And it's been a thing that's been spiraling to this for a while now. And, I got my thoughts on it. And sure, every other podcaster out there has been talking about stuff in the industry and talking about how the industry's been handling things, how people been getting laid off. We're going to talk a lot about that stuff as well. And, I got some thoughts, some things on my mind that, the industry's got to evolve. It's got to evolve, adapt, change for the better or worse. And even the gamers, us gamers, have to change and evolve. Me, I'm more adaptable on the way the industry is, as long as it just doesn't throw shit my way. But a lot of gamers out there are very nitpicky on things, or they want certain things and they try to demand it and all that, and then there's so much demand for stupidity out there that you forget what you're doing. You're playing video games, you're having fun in a virtual digital world created by big large groups of people, or even small groups of people if they're really good at doing that. And things take time. And the vision of the game maker should be the thing that, you just enjoy playing because it's their vision, not them having to take notes and stuff. Oh, this gamer doesn't like this, or they want this or that or this. No, it's what it used to be is game makers make games. They put out said games. Those games seem to play well depending on the game and the people making them. And us said people that purchase the games would play the games, either enjoy or not enjoy the games, and go about our day when we beat the games. Now it's like, we need added content, we need better graphics, we need more hertz and this and that. And I know we're in the semi-advanced age of technology here, where things are, technology and the way that games are being made and produced, like movies now and stuff, and they've been doing that for a while. And the technology of how graphics are, it's got to be 4K this, HDR this and that, DLSS that, or DLSS, yeah, DLSS, and ray trace, which that is ray tracing technically, and AMD's AMR, all this stuff just to play a video game just makes things more complicated, more of a hassle, and it takes away what I think more creativity from people, unless if they're actually wanting to make a game like that for that purpose. My notion always, and I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion on this notion, is that I don't think every game should be 100% HDR, 60 hertz, 120 hertz. I'm not, all that stuff, ray tracing. I think games are being made too big and too expensive. And I heard a few other gaming podcasters out there say the same thing. I don't think the industry all has to jump on this one set bandwagon. I think everybody should create their own visions for their own games and not just copy what others have done and for their successes and stuff like that and try to copy that. I think everybody should continue to have their own visions, because that's what made making and playing and buying and playing video games the best thing ever, because everybody had their own visions, everybody had their own thoughts. And I got still something in my eye because goddamn my eyes and my body. Eyelashes, who needs them anymore? I don't need them. But anywho, the industry has to evolve. It's got to evolve again. It's getting too expensive for things, as you hear, hence maybe some reasons for layoffs. Another part of the industry, and this goes for any giant corporation or anybody that's got shareholders and people invested in companies and stuff. Me, and this is another probably unpopular opinion, I believe a corporation or somebody that's beholden of shareholders and blah, 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 that pay to make money, and most of them probably don't really even know or care about the company, said company. They just want the money, their stock portfolios to go up. Now, note, I don't buy stocks. I invest in something different. I don't invest in any stock markets or any companies or anything else. I do my portfolio a lot differently and independently, and I think a lot more secure. I'm not going to go into any details because this ain't a financial podcast or anything, but let's just say, even though I'm not going to be making millions of dollars or claiming to make millions of dollars, because I'm not, trying to get the most popular stocks or something like that when I hear about them, I'll do quite well for myself when I retire, hopefully. And, I'll have that money. I'm not trying to be super rich or anything. If I was going to be super rich, I would have tried to do that a long time ago in a lot of different ways. But anywho, I think shareholders and stocks and the stock market in general is a bunch of crap. I think companies that are run by shareholders and stuff like that, and boards and stuff that are mainly shareholders and et cetera, are crap. And I think with all that extra crap that's running the companies, makes it harder for said people, individuals, workers, employees, people that create stuff like these video games and stuff, makes it a lot harder for them to do their jobs and to make happiness for people, to make fun, because they're so beholden to, the companies, the CEO, like I said, the shareholders and stuff, that individuality and creativity takes a big nosedive a lot of times. And that's when you get into those safe spaces. The safe spaces meaning, these giant companies, because the games are being made, they're getting made bigger, larger. They have to have all the stuff in them, which makes them larger, bigger, more expensive to make. And it takes away from the creativity, the fun, and it costs more to make and takes more people to make them. And then if the game doesn't do that well, then it's like, hey, chopping block time. So that's why these companies like to go for their safe spaces and try to do remakes and do this and put this game out over and over again, make the same games over and over again, because it's a safe bet and they make money for it, and then they appease shareholder. I really hate that part of the corporate world. I'm not even going to say just corporate America, but the corporate world. I think corporations are doomed in the long term, and then I shouldn't say near term, but long term. I'll go long term future, because eventually you're going to stop making more profit. You're going to stop making that tons more money. You're not going to keep growing and growing and growing, and that's going to be most industries' downfall, because they think they can have infinite growth, and that's not possible. And the financial industry as a whole just is in shambles. It's horrible. So that's what happens. So it hurts these games. It hurts these people. It hurts individuals that are just trying to make a living, trying to have fun doing what they want to do. And in the games industries, all these people, these contractors and individuals that work for these said companies are getting strung along, and a lot of them losing their jobs. And it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, and it's happening more than not in this industry and a lot of other industries as well. Look at the Hollywood industry. Look at all the movie industry. Remember when we had all these great films coming out all the time, and all these big films and all these creative films and all these indie films? Now you don't see that many films coming out, and the ones you do see are either super hot trash or these companies, these big conglomerate companies think, oh, we're just going to put out this big, super expensive film and people are going to like it. And then it bombs. And then they're like, what happened? Because it was a load of crap, because it was all focus tested to death. And you made a film that nobody was happy to make anymore. And the film ultimately did bad because there was no creativity behind it. And that's, there's some offsets to it. You got your Avatar films and franchises from like James Cameron. I always like to bring him up. He does his own thing. He tells people to either fuck off or he does his own thing. And that usually works out for him. Look at the Avatar movies, even though he's making, how many more he's trying to make? 4 or 5 more? Now, no. I'm happy to have more Avatar. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of people that hate Avatar, the movies and stuff. I like the movies. I think they're just fantastic. And I like I love the world. I love everything about the Avatar movies. I think they just take too long, and I'm sure they're very expensive to make, but you know what? That's his vision. If he's not beholden to corporations or anything, he's doing that on his own. So if he's thinking, I got a few more sequels to make after this one, 4 or 5 more, that's him. And even he says he doesn't even know if he's going to be making them all. He's just has a whole bunch of scripts and stuff on paper and everything down saying, hey, I can make this many more films of this franchise because I have a whole huge idea base for all these films and stuff in this movie franchise. And I'm like, okay, go for it if you really want to. Might be dead by then, but okay. Plus, he's even saying he probably wants to make other things, and he might put other people in the director's chair of these movies, and I'm like, yeah, that could work, maybe. We'll see. But anyways, same thing with video games. You got all these great ideas. A lot of ideas come from these smaller companies, individuals, and people that create very fantastic games. And then you got the bigger franchises that did well for a while, and then they just went downhill because, corporate America got in the way, industry got in the way, a lot of big, studios and publishers got in the way, and the games faltered and failed. And then you got some games that just got out of control when they were being made, and people didn't have a straight vision for the game, and they got off track, and the game kind of spiraled into a bunch of brokenness and stuff. So that happens as well. So I'm not going to say that you don't need no regulation on the games that's being made, but there's got to be that fine line between the two in order to have a successful game that produces enough goodwill towards players and makes enough money and creates an interesting franchise, maybe. Okay, I'm back. I had a little technical issue here. I accidentally hit the wrong button here, and I actually stopped the recording of this podcast. Oh, everything's going great. Anywho, back to the talk on about these games and how the industry's in a dark times right now, because even though we're going to have some games come out, we're going to have fewer games coming out, probably going through a few years from now, now till a couple years after. We'll have some games, but it's going to be far and few between, unless if there's going to be a lot of indie games or smaller projects going on or remasters and stuff like that coming out, because a lot of the industry's been downsized, been chop and block. There's still problems going on in the industry. And like I said, games and people making games have gotten way more expensive. Time frames have been getting way too long. And the amount of return that these corporations, these companies and corporations want on these products is way too much nowadays. Before, when it was all the good times, when I was early 360 era and stuff, you had your $40, $50 games and stuff, and, people were making money. You sold some DLC on the side, they would make more money, and everything was profitable. Now everything's just getting out of control and spiraling out of control. That's like the whole, I shouldn't even just say industry. That's the whole world in general. Everything's just spiraling slowly out of control. Everything's getting more expensive, way more expensive, inflation and all that. And don't listen to all these so-called financial experts or your governments and stuff, because everything's just spiraling out of control. You got minimum wage spiraling out of control, getting larger and larger, which means products and goods and services go up in price. Everything seems to go up in price, but nothing seems to go down in price. And if stuff does go down in price, you got to wait a while, which hence a lot of people, and even yours truly sometimes, will wait on certain things, games and stuff, to go down in price before purchasing them, because it's not worthwhile to spend $70 on all these games. And now that we're in a world where the game prices are $70, and sure, yes, people will say, well, back in the early days, games were like almost $100 a game. And I'm like, yeah, those were the early days. That's when technology was still in its infancy, and it was harder to make, game cartridges, this and that, and things cost more to make because it was harder to make. Now, when you got stuff, and I hate to say it, China and stuff, where they're stamping out millions of little circuit boards a second, and there's memory can be really big. Things just are more expensive because they're just more expensive because that's the way the industries want them to be, and they want to make more money because that's capitalism. Not that I hate it, I love money too, but there's lies your main problem. It's all money, 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 money. And creativity and your video games will be at risk because some big cats, some big CEOs in the games industry want to make more profit for themselves and shareholders, and they don't give a shit about the games, the products. They used to give a shit about the products and the games and stuff, but now it seems like, no, it's more about business. Business as usual. And that's when things fail. That's how Hollywood is failing right now, because business as usual means if we don't think we're going to make a ton of money on this movie, then we won't even release it. We won't even release it on digital. We'll try to bury it. And then we're talking about you, Warner Brothers, with the Acne movie. Oh yeah, that's something on that list where I agree that, wow, why make something and then just bury it? And they're allowed to do that because it's called creative accounting. Anywho, back into video games. I know I like to go off a tangent a little bit and rant about other stuff, but yeah, it's things are going to be tough for a little bit. Not, individual gamers like myself that's been stockpiling tons of games in my backlog, and I know I keep talking about my backlogs and stuff, and I got all these games in the backlogs from many consoles and devices and stuff that I should be getting back into and playing. I'm good. I got tons of games. Now, sure, I would like to play new games all the time too, but it's not all the time that I'm able to play new games and all of that because, I'm not made out of money either, but still, I have a backlog. If not many games come out, that means I can go and hit that backlog and have some fun with some other classic games or other games that I have missed and not went back to yet, and then I can play those and have fun. So I'm good. A lot of people aren't like that, though. A lot of people just buy the games when they become on sale, or they just wait till the next latest greatest, and it can be difficult for some people that don't stockpile some games and stuff and it's not easy to get a lot of these older games a lot of times either, because a lot of them aren't digital or on the digital storefronts of your favorite console maker or publisher or anything. And then you got to go out and either find it in a swap meet somewhere, or you got to try to do the bad thing and you got to try to look on the dark web and try to download a hacked copy of a game, a legal BitTorrented copy of a game, and things go a little darker there. And then the industry's like, oh, we're losing money because these guys are pirating games online and playing them on their devices. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't make it easy enough for these people, these individuals, to play these games. So whose fault is that? And yes, there's a lot of people that just don't want to pay for anything games or anything. And they're the ones, trying to steal everything behind the scenes and try to play these games and whatnot because they don't want to pay for anything because they think everything should be free because the parents that those people grew up with are something special. Got to blame the parents. It all starts with parenting. Anywho, we've been having a lot of problems in the industry. And I'm going to talk about some of them right now. We got Sony and a bunch of people here, and it's like, really, what's going on here? What's going on? Why are these game companies spiraling out of control? We talked a whole bunch about this stuff, all the great layoffs and stuff, all these people out of work, all these thousands and thousands of, contractors and game makers out there out of work, depending on what their roles are into making games. I don't know how many of these people were super significant for the game making. Maybe they were just polishing people or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know if they were actually coding and helping make certain things and levels in the games. You don't know. There's great amount of people that in different jobs that each individual does in making video games. Now, if that person's worth keeping for a longer period of time that is much needed in their part of that industry, I'm sure they wouldn't get laid off. But then you got a bunch of people that, sure, they might needed to get laid off because they weren't going to be used for a while. And the companies didn't know what to do with them because it's not like they have another game or something that they can just put these people on and throw them on that other game and they can continue to work on a new project with other people. Because why not? Why would we make it so it's sustainable for the employees so that, okay, one project is finishing up and ramping up. Why don't we have another project going or two more projects going? They don't have to be as large as that one project. And these people can jump onto those other projects if they want to. And they can continue working and making money and getting these other games out and polished and out and stuff like that. I don't know. That seems like something that would be more reasonable. But I don't know. Game making is a hard task. It's got a lot of gears and stuff going on behind the scenes to make it work, to get these games made and out the door. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but why are all these companies not able to make all these games? And then they're saying, oh, it's taken 5-6 years to make a game, but yet we're still going to lay off like 1,600 people or something here, or 900 people there, or close a studio or two there. What does that help? What sense does that make? Instead of trying to do something else to get these studios making content to sell for you guys, even if they don't make the main content, they could do other stuff. And a lot of people had ideas that I was listening to in other podcasts. A lot of people said, well, why don't they have, like, for franchises, big and small, some of these companies put out, like, have, like, a few people or something on the team, whoever can do, cosmetics and stuff and sell some interesting DLC or whatnot, or even sell actual like goods and stuff like that. Like, oh, we can create a bunch of hats, t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that, sell those in marketplaces and storefronts for this franchise or something if we think it's going to be cool or popular and stuff. Why don't they sell merch on the side for certain franchises and whatnot, and they can maybe recoup some extra money back or make some even extra money to keep these employees employed for a bit longer or something. Things like that, thinking outside the box. But people don't want to do that. Companies don't always want to do that. They just want to focus on one thing, and then that one thing doesn't turn out well, then it's like, well, gotta lay you off, you off, you off, you off. Time to lay everybody off. And that can be harsh. And that hurts the industry. Now, and I'm trying to think here before I just spew out anything. Now, my old idea here, and I got it written down, so I might as well read what I have written down here instead of just spewing out stuff. Now, a lot of key points are too many of these game makers and publishers, and I talked about this before, a lot of these people make too big of games. And these big games have to be these technical achievements all the time, and they take a long time to make. They cost a lot to make. They take a lot of people. And then people want, this game's got to at least run at 1080p, or I want this game to run at 4K. Can this game run at least 1080p, 120 hertz or something beyond 60 or whatnot? This has got to have ray tracing in it. This has got to have this gimmick in it. And it's like, why don't you just make the game that you want to make, that you were planning on making, and make it the way that it would work with the resources that you got? If you want to make that big giant game with all that extra technical achievements and stuff, then you should understand ahead of time, well, this game's going to cost a lot of money to make. This is going to cost this much. This is going to be taking this long to make. Is it going to be worth it for us in the long term? Do we got a plan or a goal in mind that will keep us not only financially good for the development time of this game, but after we put it out, how will we make even more money on top of the sales of the game if the game doesn't sell that well, or if the game does sell well, we're just not still meeting our goals. Just like how Spider-Man 2 and Insomniac and Sony being Sony and not realizing, maybe we should been doing something different, or maybe we should have had this game made in a way where it wouldn't take how many years did it take, and how much money did it take? 300 million plus or something it was like that. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have cost that much money or had that much time taken to make the game. Maybe we could have made the game a little smaller at the time, once in a while. I don't know. That's just a thought, but, they don't think that way. They just say, put it out. Games as a service, this, that. For me, I don't need 4K. I don't need 1080p half the time. 1080p could be the standard nowadays, but I don't need 60 to 120 frames per second. If the game runs really good at 30 frames or 30 frames plus per second, and it looks decent and stuff, but it's a fun game to play, I will play it. I don't care if it's not 4K or 120 hertz and stuff. I think people get way too spoiled on that shit. And you know what? I have technology. My monitors here, I think they're only 60 hertz. Did the one say it goes up to 120 hertz? I forget. Because I don't care, because you know what? Everything looks good on my monitors, and these are gigabyte curved 32-inch curved monitors. They're great. I don't think they might do I don't think they do 4K. I think they just do 1080p. They do something. I see. I don't even look at the specs on them because I know they just look good. They play games well, and that's all I care about. I'm not going, can I run this ray tracing and this and that? Sure, if there's certain games that would benefit way more with ray tracing and all the cool shadows and glimmers and shines and stuff like that, sure, make them like that. Put in that ray tracing, put in that awesome water effects and stuff. Go ahead. I don't care, because that's the kind of game that you want to make that would benefit from that. Why not do that? But then there's a lot of games that they put this shit in, and it's like, why? Who cares? I just want the game to work and play. Unlike certain games where they were remastered and they don't work at all, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, something's got to be done. And I don't know, people are saying, "Oh, everybody's got to unionize and stuff like that." Coming from when I used to work in union-based work companies and stuff, unions aren't always the best thing. And I'm not saying as an anti-union guy, but maybe the games industry does need unions. But you got to be careful of unions too, because sometimes unions get too powerful and they just ruin more than they help the people and the companies together. And sometimes, you got unions that hinder progress and stuff like that because they demand too much, and a lot of things happen behind the scenes where it's like, well, that union just destroyed that company and now the company's out of business. Oh, look, all your unionized people are out of work. Oh, good job, because the union got too greedy and everything went down the drain. Now, make sure that people aren't getting fired, for nothing because the company just doesn't need them anymore, or maybe equal pay and stuff like that, or better hours or something. Yeah, that could be something decent, but this is the games industry. Burnout, working long hours to make these games, that's been a thing since the early beginnings of the games industry. The very early Atari games and stuff. People made games, and they just kept working on them, cranking them out. They didn't, burnout was a thing probably back in the day. And that's what happens, and people get up in arms like, oh, there's too much burnout in this gaming thing. Well, isn't it up to the individuals of that studio and whatnot to say, hey, okay, I'm done for today. I am really tired and burned out. Why not? I'm going to leave and come back tomorrow and work, better, or leave early this day and come back and stay a bit later that day and, be more refreshed, and it'll make this game even better. I don't know. There's a lot of things that can happen. A lot of things that could go on. And unions are not always the best thing. Maybe in certain aspects, but as of right now, not being in a union, I think I'm doing a lot better than I would if I was in a union-based company. And this is just companies that I work for in the union. Like I said, I worked for a union, paid my stupid union dues, and I didn't get nothing out of that. I still decided to have to leave because I wasn't making enough money or getting enough, so-called worker respect in a way. And it's an up and down thing, but there maybe unions might work for some of these companies, but not all companies. It's just too much bloat, too long, too expensive. Sometimes, like I said, my plan was, if anybody ever listened to me in the industry, maybe these companies, these game publishers and people, and this is including Microsoft and EA and all these companies, instead of just trying to make all these gigantic games, and I should say Ubisoft, because Ubisoft's the biggest no-knower of making too big of games and too expensive of games, and then saying, oh, this game is a quadruple A game, even though it was just a bunch of shit just put together at the last second and came out like a wet fart in a way. But yeah, that would be this, what is that, this Skull and Bones game. Yeah, good job, Yves Guillemot. Good job there, sir. You really know how to fuck up a franchise. Oh boy. But maybe not always have all your studios try to make these big giant games and these big long games and stuff. Maybe some studios should make smaller games, more indie-ish type of games, more fun and creative games that would bring in a bunch more money, even though it's not costing them the manpower, the hours, and stuff, and the money to put into the game. But the game will look great. It'll play great. And it doesn't take as much time to make as like a super AAA game. Maybe, like I said, have rotations in the studios. I know a lot of companies want to, like Microsoft was saying, we want to be more hands-off with our studios and let them be more creative. Yeah, they can be creative in times, but sometimes maybe you got to be a little bit more firmer on that that reins of these studios so they just don't spiral out of control. And you got some of these studios that are taking way too long to make games, like the Hellblade 2 games. Sona's on a Hellblade 2 over there. It's, what is it? I forgot the name. Sigma? I don't know. At that place. How long has it been? Sure, the game's looking great, but is it going to be any fun? And is it going to work well? And is it going to give you any financials back? Probably not. Probably not for some of that stuff. It might look and play great, but shit, is it costing too much to make? And if it's costing too much to make and you're not making your money back on that game, then why are you letting them do this for so long? And this is a company, the Sinasaga Group, that hasn't made a game since they got purchased back in the day by Microsoft. It's been a very long time since they put out a single game for them. You know, they had their other game, their other first Sega, I can't even say it. Sima Saga, I can't forget what I'm saying there. But they put out the one game, and that was before they got taken over by Microsoft. But now, and then you got Bethesda that cranks out games sometimes, and a lot of them are unfinished, unpolished, broken, unimaginative. And it's like they're just trying to make and pump out games left and right sometimes, and sometimes they take too long on making games, like, you know, certain guys that make certain games that, yes, Starfield was a great game, but was it imaginative enough? Did it have I think it had too much crap in there. I think it had too many things that they didn't have to have, that didn't make really much sense for the game, because it just didn't really do anything more for the game, like the designing of ships, this and that. I thought that was all going to be great, but when I found out that there was no real enemies, like series of enemies, like a lot of people are saying, there was no aliens and creatures. There's a couple creatures, but they were mostly the same creatures, but there wasn't a vast variety of creatures and enemies out there to go out and fight and fly to planet to planet. A lot of stuff that should have been in the game, maybe would have made the game even much better and more playable for most people. Probably would have did a lot better. They kind of lightened it up too much, and that game took a long time to make, and it got pushed back a lot of times, and it cost, you know, Microsoft and Bethesda a lot of money. Hence why Bethesda got purchased by Microsoft, because Bethesda Softworks and them weren't doing financially well, because a lot of that money was being poured down the drain in a way. And don't get me wrong, Todd Howard makes some great RPGs and stuff out there, but sometimes his visions take too long. Like, how long is this new Elder Scrolls going to take? Is it going to take a very long time to make? I hope not. That's why you need some of these companies to maybe bring in the reins a little bit. Like, let some of these companies make big games the first time, and then after they make their AAA whatever games, have them go make a bunch of indie games and learn some new, maybe enhance their technology and maybe make them learn some stuff in the technology, or better how to utilize that technology and stuff. So when they're creating these little games that they're putting out for you guys and making some good money, so when they think about that next big game down the road, then they can come up to you, pitch their ideas, or say, we're going to make this game, and hopefully they have a good plan, a whole road scheduling plan, a road plan, a trip plan for how they're going to make this game. And hopefully it's solid enough that they can say, okay, if we do slip beyond that, it would have to be because of this, and this, or whatever. But if they know the technology very well, and they know what they're doing, and they know exactly how they're going to do a lot of this stuff and utilize that, then they can make the proposal. Then they can start making their big game again. And then, you know, these companies can take turns to be like, okay, these couple companies are going to make some big games, or these gigantic games, and a lot of these companies are going to make these smaller games. And then if they want to make a giant game, they can, you know, after they get down with the technology and stuff and utilize their time properly, then they can make a big game after these other games come out. And then these people that made these big games could go start making smaller games and, brushing up on the technologies and stuff like that and making things, utilize things easier and better. Maybe have a back end catalog of what should I say, of effects, artifacts. I'm trying to think of what's it called? What are they called? Shoot. I hate when I'm trying to make a point and I can't make a point because I am stupid as hell to think of what it's called. But items, things like buildings, stuff like, to utilize like a back catalog of like HD, high definition, whatever. They can even make it themselves a back catalog of stuff. So when they make the new game, they could be like, oh, we could take this, we can clean it up, fix it up, change it up a little bit, and then put it into this game and stuff. Utilize the technology, utilize a nice catalog of items and goods and services for them. So when they make the new game, sure, some of those assets. There we go. Have a catalog of assets. And make the catalog of assets really high res. Make it, even if they want to do up to 4K and as the asset catalog or whatever, then they have that thing to go to. So when they make a new game, they have stuff to look to and bring out and maybe change up a bit and put it in the games. I know it's not as cookie cutter easy as that, but it would help, right? It would help because making these game assets for these games like they did for Spider-Man 2 and stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of money to make those assets and stuff. And if you can keep those game assets, put them in like a digital catalog or something for later use, and then you can change them up a bit, why not? What's the harm in that? What's so bad with that? That would save a bunch of money and make something very interesting for the future for your next games. They just got to do better management with these companies, these studios, these big conglomerates. And ultimately, like I said, also the problem is shareholders and shareholder values on the companies and stuff and how they want financials to keep going up and up and up and up, and that's going to just not be a thing sometime. There's going to be a breaking point. Now said, that breaking point could have been now, but I'm thinking these companies are pushing back that breaking point by laying off all these people because before that bubble does burst for real, they're like, oh, we're going to try to make as much money from all this stuff right now as we can, and we're going to keep pushing, even if we got to lay off more people, and then it's going to hurt them in the long run because you keep firing all these people, even though they want jobs, they're not going to trust you if you got another job opening, at least some of them, because they're going to be like, I'm just going to get laid off again after this next game or whatnot, and you're going to lose a lot of faith and trust from these creative, amazing game makers out there and developers because they got shit canned. It's not a healthy industry, and sad to say, even though I love this industry and I love all the games that I've played from this industry, knowing what I know and what I didn't know before. Now, I didn't know most of this stuff back in the day, back in the early 360 or even maybe we can say PS2. I don't think it was happening as much in the PS2 era and stuff. I think there was a lot of extra studios out there, a lot of extra creativity, a lot of extra stuff out there, a lot of production and productivity out there. Now, like they said, it's all condensed and stuff. It's all, you got Microsoft, you got Sony, you got Activision Blizzard. You got not Activision Blizzard, you got EA, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Embracer in a way, even though Embracer's slowly imploding every week now, and they're basically shrinking, and eventually I think they're going to go bankrupt because they never had a good plan. They never had a good business plan to begin with, and they wasted and squandered too much money on stuff when they should have been making these companies make great games, and that's why they hurt the industry in a big way, because they took all these lower and middle games creators and groups and studios, and they embraced them, and now they can't afford to keep them, and it's like watching asteroids. But anywho, yes, it's been bad. I think it's not, like I said, it's everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault. It's us as the gamers that demand too much from the games, and it's people that make the games and the industries that employ these game makers that have problems in managing their businesses and making these games and making them as fun as they can, and they don't all have to be huge. There's too many huge games. And I love my big, huge games, but even I can say there's too many huge games because I can't play them all. There's a ton of huge open world games that I have that I hope I can get to someday, but there's a lot of them that I won't get to. And I really get bummed out because I'm like, oh, I want to play that game, but it's a giant open world game and I know I'm never going to beat it. I want to continue on with the game I got, and that's how it goes. And then when I continue on with the games that I got, because they're so big, I don't have to go out and buy new games for a while because I got enough games in my games portfolio and library to play and back catalog. And then they lose out on on sales with me and buying their games because they make them too big and too popular, because you got these people there like, oh, we're just going to make this one game that'll last forever, or this games of service like Fortnite or something, and we'll just keep pumping money into that, making that instead of making more other games and stuff. We're just going to keep pumping everything into the Fortnite. We're a Fortnite company now, and people just want to play Fortnite, but they don't want to play other games. It's the same thing when, like, Minecraft. Oh, a lot of people just play Minecraft, and that's the only thing they play. Now, note, I was one of those people at a certain time where I just played nothing but Minecraft, and I haven't played a bunch of games, but then I went back to playing a bunch of games, and, eventually people get bored with Fortnite, and if eventually Fortnite might slowly go down a little bit, who knows? I don't know. I still hear a lot of people play PUBG. I don't know. But it's everybody's problem, Like I said, games are way too big half the time, and they need to make some smaller, better games. Cheaper, mind you, not just all $70 games. That's something I think with that one Prince of Persia game that just came out. I want to play that Prince of Persia. It looks really good. I'm not interested in the Prince of Persia too much. I played the older ones. I didn't care for them, but the side-scroller one looked pretty cool. But I'm not going to pay $70 for that game. What was it, 70? I think it was 70, right? I'm not going to pay for that. When it goes down to like 30, 40, 30, mostly 30 range for me, I'll pick it up and play it. I'll buy it for $30. You'll have $30 from me because that's what I think that game's worth. And people will say I'm wrong on that because they say, well, there's so much to the game and blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. That's how much the game should technically be worth, $30, $40, because it's that type of a game. I don't know. I hate I don't want to sound like I put a price on every game and how games should be priced, but maybe that game could have been cheaper to make and play. I don't know. And like I said, do we really need all this technology in these games? Do we need this and that and that? Why does the game have to look this ultra realistic? This game, of course, looks amazing. Probably took a lot of people, cost a lot of money, took a lot of time to animate and do all this stuff. Did it really need to be done that way? Could have been a little less graphically impressive and still be an amazing game? Sure. I don't know. Let's see here. But yeah, that's my beliefs on that. And I know a lot of people will be against me on this, and that's okay. Everybody's got their own thoughts, and not every thought that I have is a good answer to the problems that we have out there. And, it comes down to everybody as a whole to figure out the problem. And a lot of these corporate people just don't understand or don't care, or they just don't understand how to do it. But I don't know. I think there should be more indie studios popping up. Maybe there will be. Maybe all these people that are being laid off, maybe they're going to join up together or something and create indie studios. I don't know. make games out of their garages again and start publishing them up on Steam. And Microsoft, I'm sure, will publish a lot more indie stuff. Nintendo might get more. They might want some more indie stuff. I don't know. I know Sony hasn't. They basically smushed and smashed and threw away all the indie studios and stuff that they had going on. But you never know. Maybe the time of the indies and indie studios and people like you and me that, well, if I knew how to make games, would make games in our own houses and stuff and then publish them directly or something. I don't know. That could be a thing going forward when all these big giant studios and games go crashing down. It's always a possibility. And talking about that, we'll talk about some of this, a little bit of news here. Let's see here. Yeah, this is, some of the stuff shouldn't be like this. I don't know why. Hold up. Kind of screwed up a bit here. Let's see here. We can put this in here. I do not know why. Hold on. I thought I had these all okay. I think I got them all organized. I had all these news stories and talks all organized, and then somehow something got mixed up. Talking about Sony first, laying off 900 people, staff, closing their London studio, which has been around for a long time apparently, and layoffs that are being affected, of course, across all their gaming divisions, even though they came out to say, hey, we're not selling as much PS5s as we thought we should. Oh, and we got a problem with not having as many games going to be coming out for the next year or so, or year to the future. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, we're just going to lay off 900 people and close up a studio to help that out. Oh, okay. And this is from people like Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, big studios inside Sony that probably needs the people to keep working on games or make new games and stuff. Also, they were talking about a number of in-development games are also being canceled. And this is all, and I know Jim Ryan's left pretty much, or he's been gone, or he is leaving Sony PlayStation because he just says, I'm done being the CEO of Sony PlayStation. But this is all under him still, I guess. And he was talking about how, and they're even quoting Jim Ryan, how he issued an update called A Difficult Day in Our Company, where he had to make this extreme, where he says, we, meaning him and probably some other board people, made an extremely hard decision to lay off about globally 8% of our PlayStation workforce, 900 people. But yet you guys don't have the games anymore. And, after Spider-Man and stuff, what games do you guys got? Like I've been saying, I'm surprised on how many PlayStation 5s have been sold. Now, PS4s, okay, they still had a bunch of games. But now, with way less games and way less software and all that stuff to go along with your PS5, and even though they're selling extra hardware like the stupid PSVR headset 2 and that stupid PlayStation Portal that seems to be selling out, even though I'm sure they're just releasing them in small little batches, but they keep getting sold out and stuff. Why are people buying this hardware if there's not that much software to go along with the hardware? I don't understand it. I don't understand what these gamers are thinking. I don't understand it. Maybe these PlayStation fanboys and fanatics are thinking, oh, if we keep buying more hardware and all this stuff, maybe they'll make more games or blah, blah, blah for this hardware. And I'm like, not always. No, it's Sony. They don't usually support things too well, except in their main things like the PlayStation. That's why they're not really supporting the PSVR 2 headset that much, especially when they close down a VR studio. Their VR studios got shut down. Okay, so what's Sony's plan here? So they're laying off 900 people, 900 staff from various parts of their studios. They're shutting down their London studio. how does that help you guys and your bottom line and games going forward when you're trying to sell more PlayStation 5s, even though the whole thing, and this is in another article, and I'm just going to talk about this with this whole thing, that the PS5 is not even selling as well anymore. It's actually slowing down significantly now in sales, and that they're concerned about the PlayStation 5's lifespan, that it might be shorter than what they were hoping it for, because not as many people are buying PS5s, which to me, okay, that's a good and a bad thing, because here's the thing. It's a good thing because maybe people are finally realizing that the PS5 isn't worth the purchase price right now, because there's not that much software to go along with the PS5 to purchase for the PS5. And maybe that will, I don't know, doesn't seem to be opening up their eyes, because you would think they'd be like, oh, we were thinking of laying off people, but we need these people that make games to make more games. Oh, we'll keep the London studio open. We'll cut a few people out of there, but we'll put them in new studios to make like indie games or something, make smaller titles for the PlayStation or whatnot. Spread these 900 people out. They can make some interesting smaller titles for, the PlayStation VR headset 2 or your regular PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. But they're not thinking that way. They're just like, no, if we chew the fat of these 900 people, that means our revenues will be up. That means it will be a little bit more profitable going a little farther down the road, instead of just saying, hey, why don't we try to make more games, smaller titles, and make them really good and sell them for like $30-$40 a piece, and maybe we can make that extra money, and we'll get some more people on the PlayStation 5 to buy more of the PS5. We just had this with the Xbox, with talking about the Xbox whole Xbox debacle, where everybody's like, oh, Xbox is going under, the console industry is gone and blah, 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 and the discs, physical media is gone, which I think physical media might be going on its way out. I know there's a lot of outliers that say, no, physical media is here to stay forever, and I used to be like that, but for games, the way how games are getting larger and larger all the time, and that these games aren't fitting on discs, and that even when you pop in a game disc, it doesn't mean you're actually getting the game to play. You still got to download a pretty hefty chunk of the game off online and stuff to your whatever console or device of choice. If games were smaller and stuff, sure, you can play them off the discs and all that. But unless if they create larger media, which I've been hearing that there's people out there that created larger, like you can get like 10 terabyte discs and stuff like that, where you can pop in, it looks like a Blu-ray, and it just needs like special software, and it can be read from the Blu-ray laser or something, but it's layered even more, and it's put on in a certain way to make so you can have up to 10 terabytes on the disc or something. I don't know if that's cost effective or not, but they say it might be. But it's more going towards a digital future, especially when at least in my areas around New York here, there's more digital fiber being rolled out, and more people are getting internet. Like my one friend, he just got fiber in his area. He finally got fiber internet. I just helped him the other weekend put up his new mesh system, which was my old mesh system, because I bought a new mesh system for my house, a much more updated, newer, more powerful mesh network. And now he's got internet, and now he can download and upload things super fast. And I know those rural areas are still having a harder time to get that fiber out to those areas. But then you got Starlink. I know it's super expensive and shit like that, but it still seems to be a very, very powerful satellite internet service that people can use if you can afford it, out in the boondocks and stuff, to download, upload, and stuff. And I think it's unlimited. I think it's still unlimited for that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the pricing is on that, but it used to be unlimited uploads and downloads, but maybe they changed it. I don't know. But anywho, seems like we're slowly getting to the point where there's more people that can download everything digitally and stuff like that. I know there's some internet companies still have bandwidth caps and stuff, but the whole thing with physical media is, for games at least, that's going away. Movies, different story. Movies look better when they're being played off of discs and stuff than they are digitally from a server somewhere far out at Amazon headquarters or Netflix headquarters or something, or from wherever they put their servers at. I know they put their servers at some internet companies and stuff, but still, it's better you watch a thing. Like, I just pre-ordered the new Abyss and True Lies 4K editions of those movies that have been remastered by James Cameron himself. And I never had. First off, I never owned the Abyss. I watched it, never owned it. And True Lies, I always had a low res copy, like DVD copy of True Lies, and I'm like, I'd like to go and get a higher res copy. But here's the thing. It's a lot better that I own them, and I rip my discs anyway, so I rip them in the highest quality format from my discs onto my drive. So, but if I want to watch those discs, the movies off those discs, I can just by popping them in. Gaming, a little bit harder because there is more data and stuff down there, but still, games are harder to make, bigger, stuff like that. Where was I going with the disc-based media? But I was talking about PlayStation and the lifespan. So, anywho, yeah, games aren't being made. Games aren't being made for the PlayStation as much. Maybe that's also the inclusion of how Microsoft just recently acquired Activision Blizzard. I don't know. Time will tell. But that could be a big outlier to it because now Microsoft is the biggest game publisher for all systems. But still, Sony should have more vision, or the PlayStation side of Sony should have more vision for making more games, indie games. Maybe remaster some games. Maybe remaster all those original God of War games. Maybe make some new ones, like they do the Resident Evil games over at Capcom and stuff. Upres those, make those really good and put them back out again. Maybe go back to franchises that you left dormant for a while, like the Infamous games. I really like those Infamous games. I would like to see an Infamous collection, especially if they brought them to the PC, put them on Steam or something or whatnot, or even the Xbox, because I did hear the other Sony guy, the new bosses of PlayStation say, we got to look at these portfolios. We might need to start bringing these games out to more different types of platforms and stuff, and not just our console and PC. He's even thinking of other platforms, which the only other platform that we can only think about, besides like other digital platforms like the Epic Game Store, the Nvidia streaming service, probably the Xbox, right? Maybe we'll bring some games to the Xbox eventually down the road and sell them on Xbox and make some money off of there. Or I don't know, maybe that next gen Switch might be able to handle some of the games or some of the older titles. I don't know. But that guy's even thinking, we got to think outside the box here and try to do this. But Jim Ryan, he was like, nah, we're just going to cut a bunch of people. And I'm going to be on my merry way because I got my money, I got my golden parachute, and I did a bad job of running the games industry over here at Sony, and all I did was whine and complain about Microsoft most of the time, trying to buy Activision Blizzard. And I'm not really a good face for the gaming public because I had a all business face, and he was not the best guy. There was a lot of guys before him that were really good, like Kaz Hirai and a bunch of those other Japanese figureheads of Sony PlayStation. They were really good. They were really, really good at the time. They were the best spokespeople. That was back when I still bought PlayStation consoles and games from Sony as well. And they had good marketing skills, and they knew how to talk to the gamers and the public. Jim Ryan did not. He just was like, I just want to make money and make money here and there. He always had a scowl on his face. He never understood the business or the industry quite well, and if he did, he just didn't give a shit. He even said, and this is one of those infamous things that he's said that still sticks with me till this day. He said that whole bullshit of, oh, who cares about old media or old games? I don't understand old games. Who wants to play old games? Still, a lot of people like moi would love to play old games, especially if you remastered them a little bit or something, add a new, for them, trophies and stuff or achievements. Like Phil Spencer says, we'll add some new achievements, do this and that. We want to try to have backwards compatibility as a thing, as long as we can keep doing it, yada, yada, yada. But he understood. Unlike his last predecessor of Xbox, where he didn't understand and he almost buried the business because of that one comment and the bunch of stupidity that he created. And we all know who that guy is. I'm not going to keep mentioning his name, but let's just say there's people that should be in the games industry and should not be in the games industry, should be leading the games industry that should not be leading. And, Jim Ryan's parting gift to a PlayStation of Sony is, we're going to close a studio and we're going to lay off 900 people. Good job. Good job, Jim Ryan. You were the worst. The worst. But anyways, yes, they should bring back like the Infamous franchise. I would love to see a new Infamous game. Come on, Sony. Bring me some new Infamous. I would definitely play a new Infamous game. Maybe not on a PlayStation, especially not the PS5 or maybe the PS6. I wouldn't even buy that, I don't think. But if you brought it eventually to PC or something, or even ultimately if you really had some balls and you brought it to Xbox, because here's the thing. If the future of Sony and PlayStation and all that was to go this way, same with Microsoft and Xbox, which they're dabbling in a little bit. They've been doing, we're going to go have it on other platforms, even though a lot of angry Xbox gaming nerds and fanboys are like, no, it's got to only be on Xbox platforms and stuff like that. They can go fuck themselves. If they at Sony said, you know what, if we got to recoup some of this cost of these games and stuff, we'll put them on our console first, like they usually do, like they should do. Have the people come and play them on our console. Then later, put it on PC and Xbox. Put it out on the Xbox and PC later. And then people that either never was going to get a PlayStation like moi or had a PlayStation or just for some reason wants to play it on PC or Xbox, they can go and say, you know what? I'm an Xbox guy. I'll buy this Sony game, give them $50, $60 for it, or 70 like they would want for their newer titles, which I can understand for some titles, and I'll give them the 70. Like if they came out with a new Infamous game, like next week or something, like a surprise, here's your new Infamous or Infamous Remaster collection. We got it on the PlayStation. We got it on PC. And you know what else? We're putting it also on the Xbox with achievements. I'd be like, ooh, I'm buying that Infamous games. I'm going to play them on my Xbox right now. Here you go, Sony. Here's my money. Here's a lot of money. Here's. I'll buy that collector's edition if you got it. For something like that. And then Microsoft would in turn go, hey, we'll put some of our games on your platform too. Here's that Starfield everybody's been complaining about and this and that. I know a lot of Xbox fanboys are probably like, shut up, Mr. Mike. We don't want that on their console. Well, wait till a year or so or give it a little bit of time. The game's been out on the Xbox for a long time now. When they hit their peakness and they start slumping, why not put them out on other platforms? Not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt you because you're not playing the game anymore. You're looking forward to the next Xbox game that's coming out on free for Game Pass and stuff like that. I don't know. it seems like people should start doing it, and it sounds like some people are starting to do it. It's not just Microsoft, Sony on that side, on the PlayStation side with that new PlayStation so-called intern boss. He's thinking about that. Maybe if he becomes the main guy, or if they got another guy or gal that's going to be the main person of the PlayStation side, if they think that way, hey, it'll be a brave new world. It'll be a brave new world for games coming out on different systems and platforms and stuff. So Sony's got some issues. Like I said, everybody was thinking Microsoft was having a lot of issues, and Sony seems to have even more issues because they got less studios and less games being made. Hence why they're not going to have that much of a what should I say? A year or so with games. They're not going to have any games to really show or put out for the PlayStation 5 going forward. They're basically, I heard they're banking on Grand Theft Auto 6. And I heard I heard rumors that they were even trying to persuade or pay off Take-Two to get that as an exclusive to the PlayStation 6 and stuff, and which I'm thinking, I don't think they would do that. I think it would take a lot of money, which Sony doesn't have, to get Grand Theft Auto 6 exclusively for the PlayStation or something, even a timed exclusive, because they're going to want that Xbox and PC money, or at least Xbox money, because it's not going to come out on PC for another 2 years after or something, or 3 years after the sales dip a little bit on the Xbox and PlayStation. So I don't know. At Microsoft, they got bigger pockets, so they can go, hey, we'll pay even more money if you put it exclusively for the Xbox console. How you want 10 bill? You want $5 billion? Put it on Xbox exclusive? They can. Microsoft and Xbox could take that hit. It's a $3 trillion company. They put down a $5 billion bill, like a big things check saying $5 billion with a B, not million, but billion. I know that seems like a lot. Just to have the next Grand Theft Auto even timed exclusive for, like, I don't know, a year or so, or two, maybe just a year, maybe two. I don't know. I don't know how much, what the cost would be, but if they got that next GTA as an exclusive for at least a year or so, just saying, that's the nuclear ball right there, because everybody's so gung-ho. I'm gung-ho too, but I'm not going crazy gung-ho, but everybody's gung-ho about the next Grand Theft Auto. That could be the game changer right there. I don't know. Sony can't afford to do that. Microsoft can. I don't know if Phil Spencer still has that blank checkbook still from Satya Nadella over there over at Microsoft, but if he does, I'd be like, hey, $5 billion for Grand Theft Auto 6 to be timed exclusive for a bit. That's a lot of money. That pays for all your development costs and everything. That pays for that game 3 times over. And then when you get all those sales on top of it on other platforms, especially if they made it like a Game Pass exclusive too on top of that, if that was included in the $5 billion, ooh, people would be buying Game Pass like crazy. You would see those Game Pass numbers go skyrocketing high on top of that. Whew. That would be a big deal. That'd make Microsoft feel like a champion there. It would, a lot of goodwill would be going there, and Sony'd be like really upset and pissed, of course. But and Nintendo wouldn't care because they're the Apple of the video game world, so they're doing their own thing. They're not caring about super graphics and stuff on their consoles or anything. They just try to get good games on their platforms, and they have the cheapest hardware they can. This next gen hardware might be a little bit more expensive and heavy duty, but they're still going to stay under what the major console makers are, and they're going to make more money than them because they know how to do it the right way. Just saying. But, yeah, not to sound like a total douchebag on the Xbox side as a fanboy, but Sony, maybe not lay off all those people. Maybe utilize those people in other areas. I know it's all been under Jim Ryan, so who knows what's going forward. We'll find out, but I'm really hankering. I should bust out my PS3 because I might want to play some of that Infamous again. That'd be a good Let's Play or something. Maybe after I'm done with Infinite Wealth and stuff, and maybe I'll bust out my PS3 and we can play. I can stream some Infamous and stuff off my PS3. I haven't busted that console out in a long time. That was my that was the last Xbox or PlayStation console I owned. I did own the PS4 for a short time, but I returned that sucker because there was just nothing appealing to me of that system, even at launch. And I'm like, well, I'll take a little hit and return it and have to pay a little percentage to return it, but shit, at least I don't have a console that's going to just sit there and not do anything. A brand new console. Yeah. Lots of layoffs. More layoffs to add to the giant layoff list of this year. And then you got Life is Strange True Colors Studio Deck 9 has laid off 20% of their staff as well, as they announced. That's pretty bad. 20% of their staff got laid off. I don't know how many people that means. Let's see here. Okay, they're saying in a news article the studio employed roughly between 100 to 130 staffers prior to the layoffs. So what is that like? So 20% of that, what would that be? So they're saying affected 30 people. So 30 people got laid off over there, maybe. Is that what they're saying over at Deck 9? They are talking about how the developer is also given them 2 weeks of severance, including people who have worked at the studio for 7+ years. So here's the bad thing. Okay. This is from somebody I guess works there. They just gave a big speech about giving us time to say goodbye, get materials we needed, etc., then immediately locked us out of our work email. Okay. That's always been a bad thing. We were all getting 2 weeks of severance, including people who have worked at the studio 7+ years. Yeah, that seems kind of bad. But that's how companies are going nowadays. So this is from a lady called Elizabeth Ballot, who served as a narrative designer at Deck 9, wrote that all workers affected by layoffs would be getting only 2 weeks of severance pay, regardless of time spent at the company, that they're getting locked out of their emails, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's not really good. That's not really good. They should have... See, people like that, maybe they should have had us have, like, I don't know. I hate to say it, but maybe they should definitely had some Teamsters there and stuff. I don't know, and I like Deck 9. I like the Life is Strange and stuff. Those True Colors, I think they did a good job on that game and stuff. I don't know why they're letting people go. Maybe they're just not making enough money from that Expanse. Because they did the Expanse, the Telltale series. Maybe that's not doing as good. I don't know. I don't know financially on how much that cost them. But, yeah, that's pretty sad. Only 2 weeks severance. Even though if you've been there 7+ years. That's sad. So you can add that to the list of bad business. Bad game business in the gaming industry. Hopefully those 30 people will find work, or hopefully maybe they could create a new studio and make their own stuff. I don't know. Just saying. I don't know. Just saying. But that's not it. Here's maybe some interesting news. I don't know if it's good or bad because we don't know all the details, and this is still like a rumored thing in a way, but not a rumor, but we don't know who it would be. But apparently the Borderlands studio, underneath the Embracer Group called Gearbox. Yeah, I'm sure you heard of them. They make a little game called Borderlands. They make all the Borderlands games and stuff, and they're supposedly helping with the Borderlands movie that's supposed to be out pretty soon. That I don't know if I'm gonna I'm probably gonna go see the Borderlands movie, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But I'll try to like it. But yeah, they make games called Borderlands. They're fun games. I gotta go back to Borderlands 3 and play more of that eventually. But Gearbox was acquired by Embracer Group only just 3 years ago. And apparently, as of now, because Embracer is sucking because they're financially sucking and they're sucking on how to run companies, they're basically laying off all and closing up studios and blah, 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 and keeping properties, though. But apparently, over at Gearbox, they're getting sold to another company. Let's see here. And let's see here. The CEO, Randy Pitchford, which is supposedly still with Gearbox underneath the Embracer Group, told employees that the company could either stay with Embracer, sell to another company, or return to independence as of a meeting that they held. Option 2 is reportedly approaching the final stages as soon as its new soon-to-be owner is unclear of the time being. So we're going to learn if who that so-called owner could be. And, Embracer thought that Gearbox was going to be one of their main studios, making them a lot of money, and I guess it wasn't making them enough money. But at least they're trying to figure out what to do with Gearbox, or at least Gearbox itself. Randy Pitchford, I don't know how that works under Embracer. At least they're trying to figure out, hey, they could. I'm just looking at this. I'm just reading this article as I'm talking about it. I wonder if it would come with this franchise, with the Borderlands franchise or not. I would hope so. But apparently, Gearbox might be sold to another place now. They might go to another owner, whoever that might be. And, we'll find out more when the story develops. But at least they're not trying to, downsize and fire all the employees yet. If it just doesn't get, flushed down the Embracer toilet. But there's hope for Gearbox, at least, even if they do end up going back to independence. I don't know if Randy Pitchford still wants to run the company like that or not. I don't know. It's up to all those people. It's up to. It seems like there's no good judgment in any of part of the industry right now. And leadership is, and trust me, I work for a company that has bad leadership. I worked for a lot of companies that had bad leadership. And eventually I left certain said companies of bad leadership, especially when I wanted to pursue for more financial gain and better conditions and stuff. And still with this now with this company, I'm like, okay, I get better financials and stuff, so I'm good. But you never know. If you got bad leadership and bad people that don't know what they're doing, or they think they know what they're doing, and then everything goes the opposite direction, I don't know. But hopefully Gearbox does well. I would hate for Gearbox to close down because I would really want a Borderlands 4. I know some people out there would say otherwise, but like I said, I liked Borderlands 3. I just stopped playing it because there was other games that came out, and I just stopped at a certain point because I think I didn't know what to do at a certain point of the game. But I got to get back into Borderlands 3. Even if I got to restart from the beginning, I should really get back into Borderlands 3 because I got pretty far into Borderlands 3. I was having some major looting fun with Borderlands 3. People said, well, the jokes don't land and stuff. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the jokes. I just want to loot and shoot. Loot and shoot is good enough for me. Also, you remember Toys for Bob and how that was going, how they were being dropped and let go and all that? Apparently, a former Activision studio, Toys for Bob, is going to go independent instead. exploring a new future partnership with Xbox on top of it. The company that's laid them off. That's laid them off. But I guess they're still going to be like, yeah, we're going to go independent. You know, Microsoft is well known for letting studios just go flutter away independent-wise. You know, studio called Bungie, yeah, they were the Halo people at one time. They went independent. Now they're under Sony, and I hear they're not doing so hot. But Toys for Bob, I thought they were a decent company. You know, they did the remasters for Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and a bunch of other stuff. I guess they were also a support role in Call of Duty for a few years as well. So they got some gumption that Toys for Bob. They did some interesting things. They also did the that little game called Skylanders. They did the Skylanders thing there too, right? That was Toys for Bob, I think. But let's see here. I think it was them that did Skylanders, right? It's not saying it in this article, so I'm getting worried if I was wrong on that. Yeah, Toys for Bob did Skylanders. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm right on that. Toys for Bob made Skylanders. Founded Toys for Bob game. It's got Star Control series, popular RTs. Create a successful... Acquired a studio, which Activision acquired a studio, which went on to create this. Yeah, so they created Skylanders. Okay, there we go. I was right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was right on that. They did Skylanders too, so they did some good stuff, and I think they did those remakes very well. I thought they were going to just continue to be like the remake part of the company. I thought Microsoft would have just utilized Toys for Bob, say, hey, make remakes of this. Didn't they do Tony Hawk? They did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as well, right? Or was that another part? I'm thinking everything's Toys for Bob for some reason. I thought they did Tony Hawk as well. I'm not going to look that up, but they did some interesting stuff over at Toys for Bob. And they seem to do a very good job at, you know, games and remakes and stuff. Now they're going to go independent, and they're going to stick with Microsoft, I guess, for... working with them for getting their games published and stuff. And they're going to, and they said they're going to make new franchises and stuff. So they're being allowed to be breaking away. They're going to leave the studio, and then they're going to do some cool stuff and still put games on Xbox, I guess, and other places, I guess, or at least Microsoft's going to publish their games for Xbox and other platforms. Why not? But at least they're not going away, because that's a pretty cool name too for a studio. Toys for Bob. Such a weird name for a company, but they did some good stuff. I praise them for their stuff. So, but yeah, and I'm sure after this podcast, after you guys we listen to go into the next weeks, I'm sure we'll hear about more layoffs and more stuff happening in the downfall of the games industry. That is, hopefully not too much. Hopefully it slows down a bit. I want to hear some good news out of the games industry for once, instead of, oh, this is bad, that is bad. And going back to the whole thing of Sony laying off people and their console not selling well, why would they want to put out this more expensive, more powerful console for the near future anyways? Why do they think that's going to save the PlayStation if they're going to put out a way more expensive unit in the near future and sell it for a higher price point? I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is on that when you don't have the software to back that up. Now, also Microsoft has been also teasing a new Xbox all-digital console coming out sooner than later this year. That's just a revision of the Xbox Series X, probably just an all-digital edition without the disc drive, just like they're doing with the Series S without the disc drive. They're going to probably have the Series X is going to be without a disc drive, and it's probably going to look different, as we've seen in prior photos that they denied. But I don't know. As long as they're still selling consoles, Xbox consoles, and maybe it'll save them some more money, and maybe they figure, well, we're going to still have games to put out, you know, mostly more people are buying digital on our systems. Yeah, okay. This next Xbox, even though it's not going to be way more powerful or anything, it's just going to be a Series X without a disk drive, and it's going to look differently. It's going to use better, newer internals. Why not? Why freaking not? At least they're doing it in a way where they're not like, oh, we're going to go in a graphical jump and leap in power and horsepower and stuff for this console and sell you it. Maybe it'll be a cheaper one. Maybe it's a cheaper Xbox Series X. I don't know. I already got my Series X. I'm happy with my Series X. I like my disk drive too. I use it because, whenever I get games on the Xbox that I do buy physical copies of, even though nowadays that's not a thing anymore, but yeah, I still do. It's still a good console, but we'll see what they have in the summer of games of 2024 this year going forward. I don't know. I think Sony, they got some soul searching to do. Just like Microsoft. Just like anybody in the industry. Just like that company, that Ubisoft company where they think Skull and Bones is going to be doing well and it's going to sink. It's going to sink. Skull and Bones is going to sink. Especially when you got Sea of Thieves out there and such, games like that. I don't think Skull and Bones is going to hold a candle to that game. And Ubisoft's got to be very careful now because they've been making all these games I've been hearing that they've been coming out with lately have been just, what should I say, sinkers lately. And it's been like that for a while for them. So their financials can't be that good. Unless if their games are very cheap to make, their financials can't not be that good. That studio is probably hemorrhaging money as well, that publisher. I said studio, but publisher, I should say. With all the non-hits that Ubisoft's been coming out with, Yves Guillemot's got some things to think about, to figure out. Okay. Before we get into the games news, we got more talk here. We're gonna leave this whole long talk that I've been doing on the games industry and what I thought. And I know next time when we do a podcast, I'll try not to talk more about this beating horse of, oh, more playoffs, more of this, more of that, but it's just something that's just going on, and there's just not just one, but a whole bunch of places doing it across the board, and it's just like, how many people can be laid off before there's nothing left? How many people can you lay off when there's nothing left? Just horrible. Let's see what to talk about next. I got tons of stuff here. Hold on. Oh yeah, that could be next after that. I'm trying to go on my list here to see what's next here. So remember when I wanted to return that great game that if you're watching the video version called TombRaider 1 through 3 Remastered Collection, that's a hot mess of garbage. Yeah. I tried it twice, also called customer service, which big thing nowadays, customer service is not like it used to be. It's just a bunch of people behind their computers that don't give a shit and don't give a shit about you, the customer, or what's going on with the problems, and they say they can't do anything, even though the game is completely bad and broken, and you really have not really played much of the game because it's so broken that it's like nearly almost, for me at least, impossible to play. I've seen people play the game, and I'm like, how are you playing this game? You must be doing something, or else they're taking their time to play. I'm like, this is supposed to be Tomb Raider. You're supposed to have fun in this game, in these original games, and I tried. You've seen my video. My video is up on my Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered Collection first gameplay, or whatever I call it. Did I call it the first gameplay? I think I called it first gameplay. And it was so bad. It started off okay. And then it just went with everything. From her getting stuck in the environments and the camera whipping around and locking her into place and stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff that just, trying to jump to a ledge or trying to grapple onto a ledge and pull yourself. Simple stuff that should just work out of the box and not working correctly. The controls are okay, but it's just, even when she's just standing there and you're trying to nudge her to some spot and she just walks over a ledge or something, and it's just like, really? That's the most ridiculous, crappiest stuff. So I tried again. I put in for it, got denied again for my the broken game that I don't even want to play, digital purchase of TombRaider Remastered 1 through 3, and Microsoft denied me twice. First time it says, oh, there's nothing you could do because the game is blah, 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 or whatever. And then the second time I did it, they said, oh, it's denied because it's out of the 14-day return policy or something. I'm like, first off, I pre-ordered this game. It was a pre-order. Second, I was in the whole return policy because the game just came out. What don't you fuckers understand? The game just came out. Well, it just came out before too, but they denied me before. So now they're saying, oh, it's out of the window. Of course, it's March now because you guys keep denying me and not letting me return it from the first reason. Now you got another reason. And this is what I got a problem going forward with. We need a better way, and I don't know, and I don't want to say legislation or whatnot, but there's got to be something that's got to happen, especially when we got this whole all-digital future for video games and stuff. And I know throughout the century, we can say centuries, right? Throughout the years, we never had a return policy for video games because it's like movies and stuff. You just don't return them. They're unreturnable. Even though they should be returnable for various reasons, and it's quite stated mostly, like if this game is super broken, blah, 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 or you don't agree to these terms or whatever, you should be able to return the game. Well, that's not that ain't quite true, especially if it is true, it's like hard to impossible to figure out how to return such said game, especially a digital game. Now, Steam and some various other digital storefronts have these very good, decent return policies, which are like no questions asked. Sure, you can return it after this or special circumstances. Now, no, when I put in for my return for this game, it asks you, what's the game? When did you purchase it? Blah, 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 blah. And what's the problem with the game? Blah, blah, blah. Why you return it? And I say, well, this and this and this is broken. This is broken beyond belief. I cannot play this game. The game is unplayable, blah, 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 blah. I put in all the little details of why this is broken, what's this doing, that, da, 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 and still get denied even though there's so much stuff broken about the game. And this is even after my first gameplay. When I did the first gameplay and I put in that request for a return because I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this game anymore, these set of games anymore, because they're just so broken. If they were just bad, that's okay. I don't care if the games are just bad. But if they're broken and you can't do stuff and it's like hard to almost impossible to do simple things, platforming and stuff in the games without the game flipping out and locking you in or going through walls and getting stuck or whatever, not being able to jump and grab a ledge that's not that far away from Lara Croft where she's supposed to be able to climb and jump and do that, which maybe they should. Ubisoft had something good. They have something correct, and that's the climbing in their games, especially the Assassin's Creed games. Climbing in those games are very well done. They're very well. Other games should take. I know these Tomb Raider games have. These are the originals of what, 1998, 4, something around there. These are long time ago games, but come on. A remaster is considered something where you can be able to change how the game works a little bit on top of the gameplay. And that game was done by Aspyr too, right? This was done by Aspyr. I forgot if this was done by Aspyr. I think it was. Let's see here. Aspyr, yes. Which they're also doing the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which I will be talking about in a second because I am interested in that, but it's also been done being remastered by Aspire, which is making me wonder if they're capable of doing it, doing them well at all, and hence they're under the Embracer Group. So how much funding do they have to keep these games, or fix up these games after the fact? I don't know. So basically I'm giving up on the return. I think they should have better return policies for digital games, especially on Xbox. And I even said this to the customer service because I had them record my conversation. I even wrote it down in the said email thing saying, you guys need better return policies over there for digital goods and services, especially if you're going more heavy on the games, the digital games and services. And if you want people like me to embrace that, and buy games and stuff, services digitally, you need a better return policy because your return policy is all over the place and it's not a good return policy. And you should be able to make exceptions for stuff, especially if I can prove to you what is wrong with the games or tell you what is wrong with your game. I should be able to return this TombRaider game, no problem, no questions asked. But first, it's not in their stupid little list saying you can return it, which is stupid because they got one of my games called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth that I just looked up the other day, and it's still in the list of you can still probably return this game if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to, you can return Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, even though I played should I say 70, 75% of this game already, and I can still return this game and get all my money back for a game that I mostly beat? What's up with that? And that's been out for a long time, and I played that for a long time. So why can I return games? And there was some other games that were on the list still. I'm like, well, why can I still return these games? I even asked the customer service rep, why can I still return games like this? And it goes, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. That's beyond my pay grade or something like that. I'm like, yeah, great customer service. No, Microsoft used to have great customer service. And for a person like me that never, ever returns anything really, you can check my returns list. They have a list of, what have you ever returned in your whole time here? The only time I ever returned anything, and it's not even in the list, was my Xbox One console. And that was just exchange for a new one because the other one broke, and they gave me a new Xbox One. And that was the only time. Otherwise, I never really called customer service. I never had any complaints. I never returned anything. But yet, I couldn't return this one little game that, sure, it's only $30, but $30 I could put towards another game, and it's completely broken. Now, I did hear rumors, or I think it was not a rumor or a rumor because I haven't heard it anywhere else. I did hear that Aspire might be coming out. I don't know when, but they might be in final stages or whatever, coming out with patches for TombRaider 133 Remastered. So I don't know what those are going to involve. I know it's a bunch of graphics, gameplay stuff. Maybe it'll fix the problems that I have with the games. Maybe it'll make them better to play, and maybe they'll continue to make it. So I'm going to hold out for some little bit of hope. Now, no, this is a $30 game, so I shouldn't have too much hope for TombRaider Remaster 1 through 3. But I'll wait. If those games get patched and stuff, I might try them out again and see if they fix some issues that I had playing it the first time. But I have little hope because I don't know Aspire too well for their credibility and stuff like that. But if they're being allowed to do remasters and stuff of these, or call them remasters, I would hope they would do better. Even the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, when they remastered that, and everybody was going gung-ho on how bad the remasters were and how bad the Grand Theft Auto trilogy was, they were at least playable. I was playing them from day one without any of the major patches or anything, and I didn't really have any problems with them. I played them, and then over time, I've been, I'll go back and play them some more, and I'm like, oh, they they patched a lot of stuff into it. They did some good stuff with the patching, making the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the original trilogy, really good to play. And I highly still recommend you getting them and play them on your PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, PC. I got those games 3 times over. I paid for that. I paid for the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, which, what, were they like $50, $60? I forgot how much they were at the time. I paid full price for all 3 copies. I bought a digital copy on the Xbox, a physical Switch copy, and a digital Switch copy. The physical Switch copy I keep just wrapped up as a collectible because I'm stupid like that. But yeah, I bought that game 3 times over. So, and it was good, and it still is good, and it's worth, to me, it was worth the money to buy the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. And I still don't have problems with it. You know, this I do. Tomb Raider, I do. There's major problems in the games, and I know they're old games, but things that maybe Aspire should aspire to fixing and fixing properly. So hopefully they're a good enough studio, and hopefully they got some funding, because like I said, they're under the Bracer Group. Hopefully they got some funding over there that they can do some patching and reworking some of that remastered Tomb Raider remastered collection there. And then maybe hopefully we can get a better remaster of that, of said collection. Now, no, I also have a story here, and I'll read it now before this news section, that apparently Aspire or something happened where apparently there was different versions across the Steam and Epic Game Store of Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered, and that some of those differences were that the game was looking and playing better on 1. It says, yes, this is what they're saying. As reported by Eurogamer, players of the Remastered Trilogy noticed differences between the versions. They posted a list of them online. The Epic Game Store version of the game included more poses in photo mode, higher quality textures and animations on the Nevada level, more realistic snowflakes, and more, though also had some broken achievements, noticeably. Surprising fans of Aspire deemed this version the unfinished one, and has updated to match the intended version that was released on Steam. The enhancements mentioned above are therefore no longer available in the Epic Game Store version of the game. So apparently they had a better looking, maybe playing better version in the works, or accidentally put out than they did on the other version, and they accidentally put out the wrong version of the game. So it makes me wonder, is there like a better version, a better higher fidelity, graphics quality, animations, maybe a better gameplay version of Tomb Raider Remastered 1 through 3 coming? Or are they working on it? It says also here that let's see here. It's hard to read these things here. Some build contain some work in progress materials. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna hold out some hope, because like I said, I'm a big Tomb Raider Lara Croft fan, and I would hope that they could do better with that for them and that game. I would like to think so. And like I said, now that the fact that I can't return Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered because Xbox has a bad return policy, and maybe they should rethink on how their returns for digital media should be a bit better, and they should reconsider some stuff, going forward, because you never know. There could be other games that are worse and broken down the road that you can't beat. How about if I was playing a game where I couldn't get past a level like halfway or so in the game, and there's just like a door that'll never open because it's just broken, and they never are going to repatch it or something, and I can't finish the game? But because I played so much of that game, or the game has been so far out of date, because it's not like I'm going to play the game all day one and beat the game in one day for these games, a lot of these games. It's like, well, how about something happens down the road and then you can't continue on with the rest of the game and you spent like $40-$50 on a game. What does that mean? What can a person like me as a gamer, as a person that's purchasing this game, what can I do to get my money back? If you're not going to fix the game, or if that studio is not going to fix the rest of that game or whatnot, what can I do? What are the repercussions? Oh, I just lose out on that money like I'm doing right now on TombRaider, even though I would want to play it if it was working properly. Like I said, I don't even care about how the graphics are. I think the graphics were decent. It was just the gameplay was bad, really bad. And they should have better. They should do better. Microsoft, Phil Spencer, you should do better over there. Do like Steam does. Steam does a pretty good pretty good return policy. It's not like, oh, I beat the game, I want my money back. No, nothing like that. But if you beat the game, you beat the game. You should know you beat the game and whatnot. And I can understand they don't want people just playing most of the games and then just going, I want to return it now. I can understand. But if there's no real reason and stuff, if there is a real reason, like what I have, and I only played 2 hours of the game, technically. If you want to consider that 2 hours, it was all in the first level that was not working correctly. I should be able to return it. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a food for thought. I think, like I said, the games industry has to do better in certain things. And bad return policies for bad games, because they're digital. I know physical games you can't really return either. You know, I can understand that as well, but it's a hard concept. As a person that's buys things all the time, it's a hard concept to say, hey, well, why can't I return this? Why can't you return this? Because you would think as a consumer you can return mostly anything, but you can't. It doesn't matter how broken something is. It's a problem. It's a problem with digital media sometimes. So let's see here. So on top of that, talking about Aspire some more, like I said, Star Wars Battlefront, the Classic Collection has been announced. I am kind of a little weary on it, but if it's, like I said, there was nothing, and I own these still. I think I still own them. I think I even own them for Xbox now, the originals or whatnot. I don't remember, but I played those before on the PS2 when they first came out. Whatever was broken on them wasn't really broken on them, and of course the graphics are decent at best. I think they said they were gonna semi-remaster the graphics just a little bit, not too much, but anywho, I heard that it's supposed to be a decent, it's a decent collection. They're going to add some new characters into it and stuff, and maybe do some more other stuff. And it's supposed to have the multiplayer is supposed to be really good. Like, what did they say? How many other people on multiplayer? I forgot. How many people? 72 people can play on multiplayer or something? Let's see here. It's not saying. I know they said it a bunch of times, but I haven't paid attention to that. Not that I really played any of the Star Wars Battlefront games except for the latest ones from EA that kind of suck, pretty much. The originals, I used to just play on my PS2 alone because I didn't have a network connection. I didn't have DSL or anything to play these games, multiplayer games, or broadband back in that time to play these games online. I played them with just the NPCs and stuff, and I had a blast. I played both. I got both both. I purchased both Star Wars Battlefield 1 and Battlefront 1 and 2, and I would have hours and hours and hours of fun just playing these, shooting, doing the stories and missions and stuff, and just having a hoot and a holler. I never played online with people. Now with this Classic Collection, now that I got hot fiber internet and all that, I could play online with people, maybe. And like I said, there was nothing really that I noticed that was broken about the games at the start. So maybe these, and if they're taking them right from what they were and they enhance them a little bit, do some stuff to modernize them a bit, I would not, I don't think I should, I don't think this is something I would actually hesitate to play on my Xbox now. It's kind of still a bummer that I can't get this game on like my Raw Galley unless if I buy the Steam version, but then I don't get the achievements. This is another reason why I want to purchase this game, because this game, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, it has Xbox achievements attached to it, and it's like, ooh, I can have some dumb fun with Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition Collection and earn achievements and go back to the beginning when Star Wars Battlefront was decent games, when these were decent games before they started being made by EA. And it's only $35.01. It only costs $35.01 across all the platforms, which that's kind of hilarious too. And why does this cost $35.01? That is a weird price point for this game. $35.01. I kid you not, folks. That's how much the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection costs. Why couldn't it be like $29.99 or $34.99 or something like that, or even just $35? Say, hey, this is $35. What's with the 1 cent? Or better yet, make it $36. You want some of the extra money? Make it $36 or $39.99 if you really want to try to push it for these two games. $39.99. Say, hey, $39.99. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff in here. We got some extra characters. We fixed up a bunch of graphics and some stuff here, some coat of paint. You can play with more people online. Classic heroes and villains from across the series. You got all the heroes in here, villains, got some cool stuff. There's going to be 54 maps will be available across both games in the Classic Collection. Total 17, let's see here. Let's see here. And of course, the dogfighting, the good space battling with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yes, the good space battling maps. 9 more space. Let's see here. Star Wars Battlefront 2 will have 22 ground maps, 6 space maps, and 9 more space maps exclusive to the single-player campaign and Galactic Conquest in the Classic Collection. And Star Wars Battlefront will have 17 total maps in the Classic Collection. That's a lot of maps. That's pretty good. And to say that we're going to have 9 more space maps exclusive to the single-player campaign and Galactic Conquest and Classic Collection, maybe I might buy this. Originally, I was not going to buy this. I purchased this game right away. I was going to wait to see how people felt about it and whatnot. But now that I'm reading more about this Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection and the fact that I'm trying to ease myself from the hatred of that TombRaider Remastered Collection by Aspyr, and that I know these Star Wars Battlefront games from the PS2 era and stuff, and they were decent. And I know they were on the Xbox original as well, but I know they were decent and quality-wise and playability-wise, so I know them well, and I'm sure they're not going to fuck that shit up, I would hope. And playing it on a modern-day console, I think I got to purchase it. I think I got to pre-order it. I'll pre-order it like the day before it comes out or something, so I don't fuck myself. So if something really vicious happens in the game or something, I can return it right away. I can return it right away, maybe. But yeah, I think I'm gonna buy it, and I think I'll play it too. It says it's coming out. Like I said, it's coming out on everything. It's coming out on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. It's multi-platform. And it's coming out on it's coming out on March 14th. So that's next week, Thursday. So because it's coming out on a Thursday, that means the 15th that day, even though it's Friday the 15th. Yes, it's Friday the 15th. Usually I'd have my stream from my Like a Dragon stream, or like a dragon, like a dragon. A dragon like me, you know what I'm talking about. I can't even say it. Like a Dragon series. I might do a Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection first gameplay on that Friday. I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it. And for $35, you know, for all these maps and stuff, even if I don't play it online, playing it single player, like I said, it's a hoot and a holler playing it by yourself on single player. The NPCs are dumb. They're dumb, stupid, fun. If I can remember, I can still envision them in my head, and I'm like, yeah, they're really dumb and stupid, but fun. Dumb, stupid, fun. And like I said, it's cheap. It's at a weird price. If you pre-order it now on the Nintendo store, they're offering a 10% discount for those who pre-ordered the game there, which brings it to $31.50 on the Switch store. There you go. On the Xbox store and stuff and PlayStation store and all that, they're not offering any discounts like that. They're still $34.01. So, yeah. So you'll be paying normal prices for those games on those platforms. I don't know. I hope it's good because, like I said, I'm taking like a little mini risk on the whole thing. I never, I love the Star Wars Battlefront originals, and I was always like, I wonder if they would ever bring those out again. Now they are, because you know what? They want to see if those will make money. They want to see what they can milk out of the original franchises. And I'm sure this is all like the TombRaider game and now with the Star Wars Battlefront game. I think they're doing this because they want to try to Embracer wants to try to make some more money off of all these classic franchises and see what they can make off of them. I wish they had physical editions of these games because that'd be cool. Because I would have bought like a physical edition of Star Wars Battlefront and stuff. And I'd have a nice little case, collector's case. I know, I'm stupid, but just saying. Anywho, yep, we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. I'm going down my list of things that I want to talk about. I know this podcast is getting really long already. I was trying to think about making it shorter today, but I'm like, nah. Too much stuff to talk about, too much to get into, too much games news. Let's see here. Okay, so this I'm going to talk about next. The CRKD Nitro deck. It's by CRKD. Don't ask me what kind of weird name that is, but it's called the Nitro deck. They were teasing, or they were not teasing, they were promoting the Nitro Deck 2 that's supposedly coming out soon for your Nintendo Switch or Switch OLED. So it's basically this, and I'm going to bring this out right now. For you video version people, you can see this. For you audio only people, you'll just have to watch this on YouTube later or just look it up. But it's called the Nitro deck, and they got the plus one. I got this. This is the original one because I found out this was on Amazon, and I found out that they were decent systems. Basically, I purchased the Nitro deck limited edition with carrying case. I actually have my full video review, as you would say, or unbox. Was it unbox? It's a review of the Nitro deck limited edition. This came out last year. I just found out about this year, not too long ago, and this is exactly what I wanted, basically for my Switch, because the whole thing with the Joy-Cons and these little guys, these Joy-Cons, these very expensive little pieces of shit. Yes, they're very little expensive pieces of shit. Controllers from Nintendo, probably the worst controllers that Nintendo ever made. I'm sure some people will differ on that, but I can tell you now these Joy-Cons are pretty bad. Pretty bad, especially with the Joy-Con drift, where I had this replaced 3 times, and that is 3 times for this Joy-Con had to get fixed because the Joy-Con would drift a lot and it would get really bad and stuff. And luckily it was free, but it was annoying because I had to give up my Joy-Con for a while. And I'm like, you know what? There's got to be a better way. And I tried third-party Joy-Cons and stuff, and this is probably the reason why Nintendo allows it. other people to make Joy-Cons and stuff or whatnot, or third-party devices to play, because I know they're still not as good as the Nintendo versions. And I gotta agree, Nintendo, you don't have to worry about that too much, except for this Nitro deck. The Nitro deck is pretty good. Like I said, I got last year the 2002 model here. It's basically you slip your Switch into this Nitro deck. It's basically a big. It's like when you get your cell phone controllers, where they're made for your cell phones. You pop your cell phone into the controller dock. That's what this is. It's a big dock for your Switch, and it has all the controls on the sides of it and the back of it as well. It has little thumbsticks. Well, this original edition, this is the limited edition. This is the one that looks like a GameCube controller, basically, but with the Switch controls. It's got the nostalgia retro purple, and it's got the yellow and red and stuff. That's why I got this basically, because I'm like, ooh, I could have got a black clear see-through one or a green see-through one, or, you know, all those other cool colors and stuff. But I'm like, ooh, a nostalgia retro purple. And I'm like, I want to try out this retro Nitro deck because I heard good things about them. I heard bad things about them. And I'm like, okay. And it says you'll get 0 stick drift for the Nintendo Switch and Switch OLED because they have, what do you call it? The floating, what do you call it? They just don't stick drift. I'm just going to say it there because I can't remember. They have the parts where it doesn't stick drift. You'll never get stick drift of them. So it also comes with a heavy hardcore, very nice hard. You can hear that in the podcast here. I'm knocking on it. Hard carrying case as well, which really sold me because it's nice and black. It's a fake leathery, nice fabric-based carrying case for your Nitro deck limited edition, and for your Switch to be inside of it. And it's got a nice little zipper to it too, dual zipper. I didn't even know it had dual zipper. I only used the one zipper, but it has dual zippers where you can unzip it. It's a hard shelled case. It's really nicely formed for the Nitro deck, as you can see here. And like I said, you can watch this all on my video, which is kind of a little bit bright and blurred out. I noticed some people said it was a little bright, but you know, working on weird conditions. Next time I'll do an overhead camera shot. I was only working with the one camera at the time. Next time I'll do an overhead camera. But it comes with, you know, a USB-C to USB cable. It comes with some extra, you can buy some extra D-pads, you know, circle pads stuff here. It's got a nice little thing to hold your game cartridges in and stuff. And then, like I said, it has the thing where it protects your Nintendo Switch, and you can use it as like a Switch with the Joy-Cons attached to it, you know, like a Switch Mini or something, or Switch Lite, but it's bigger than that. It's a little bulkier too. It's a little thick, makes it a little thick, but that's okay. It's super nice and light. It feels good in my small hands. Now note, I got small hands, and when trying this out, I'm like, okay, it doesn't add, this Nitro deck doesn't, and this is the original one. They got the new one coming out. It's supposed to be a little bit slimmer and stuff. It adds some more controls onto the sides, which I didn't like. That's why I didn't want to purchase the newer version of the Nitro deck, because not only is it more expensive, I think it was like, I forgot what it was, but it was more expensive, and it had side triggers to it on the sides of the panels. I'm like, I'm going to hit those by accident all the time. I don't want that. I'm already, I always weary about even these back control paddles that it has. So far, these control paddles haven't been getting in my way too much, so I'm okay with that. But it's really nice. It feels really nice and sturdy in my hand now. The Switch too, because when I just had the Joy-Cons attached to the Switch, you notice you can feel it a little shaky and a little give to them and stuff. They weren't as tight as they originally were when you first got your Switch because they loosen up a bit. This just feels very nice and snug and tight. It's very light in my hands, you know, even though the Switch itself is providing the most bulk and heft to it. But otherwise, everything, the controls feel nice. Feels very decent. The button layout is nice and decent. Like I said, The analog sticks move really nice and click really nice on the Nitro deck here. And this is the original one. You can hear that. That's the Nitro deck clicking. They feel really nice. They're also the Holo effect, because these are Holo effect sticks. That's what I'm talking about. Holo effect sticks, hence the no joystick drift. But you can take them off by spinning them and pulling them off and putting on different sticks, which you can buy from the site, I guess. Or I'm sure I can buy them on Amazon too, but you can put different sticks on them and stuff if you want. I got these two nice sticks here. They are really nice for my Nitro deck. And everything feels really good. The triggers, everything, the button layout. It's got a nice, for the share button, it's got the nice little record button right down here in the lower left corner, which is nicely put on my way. So if I want to take a screenshot or record something, I can easily do that. The only downfall to this Nitro deck here, the original one, and that's going to be the same for the newer one, would probably have to be if you want to use it fully, if you want to change a lot of settings on your Nitro deck and stuff like that, you got to use their app on your phone. And I never was a big fan with the app on the phone thing. I wish it was like some kind of software you can download to your PC or something. You can just plug it in and do it. But no, you got to use an app on your phone. And it wouldn't be that bad if you didn't have to use NFC. That's another thing. The only way you can register this Nitro deck and use it is if your phone has NFC support, just like your Switch has, and you're supposed to clink them together and they're supposed to register with the software, and then you can change settings and do stuff. Well, my phone, my Android phone, my Motorola phone, even though it's a newer phone, it doesn't have NFC support on it. So I'm so out of luck here with being able to change any of the software on this Nitro deck. And you're probably wondering, well, what software do you need to change on the Nitro deck? Well, trigger layouts, how far, dead zone support, whatever. If you want to turn off these back panels completely, you can turn them off or reconfigure where you want your button layouts. And also it has Rumble built into this Nitro decks. And I think the new ones too. And a lot of people were saying that the Rumble in this original Nitro deck was too powerful, and it was too loud and it was too powerful. It goes, I can understand that. Now, note, I've been playing stuff with my Nitro deck, and yes, it does have a good rumble to it. And I don't think it's too loud, at least not to me, but I'm kind of deaf too. But I do feel the rumble. It is pretty powerful. I don't have any problems with it. I'm just hoping it doesn't use up the battery more, but there's nothing I can do because I can't get into the software to program my Nitro deck, because why can't they just use a Bluetooth connection to connect from your Switch to your phone? That would have been better. Everybody has Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a normal standard. I can understand why you don't want to utilize maybe the Wi-Fi, even though you could probably do that too, but why not have the Bluetooth connection from this to your Switch? I never understood that. Why can't I just hook it up via Bluetooth and say, hey, I want to register this, play this with Bluetooth? I don't understand why they went with NFC on that. I think that's the biggest downfall for this. And the future device as well, because you got to use NFC to register and log into this Nitro deck device to play it, to change the settings on it. Otherwise, it works just fine. I've been playing some games with it, trying it out with a few games. I also been playing Mario Maker with it, even though that's probably the dumbest thing to play with the Nitro deck thing, because you're just drawing on it. But I've been using the Nitro deck for like some of the stuff with Mario Maker, and it seems pretty damn good. I've been playing Mario Kart. Mario Kart seems very fun and good with the Nitro deck so far. I haven't had too many issues with it, except that I suck at Mario Kart. Another thing people had a problem with was the eject button on this thing. It has a little eject switch on the bottom. When you inject it, you got to pull the switch out, which technically the newer Nitro decks, they're fixing it with, because it's supposed to eject the switch a little bit more out so you can easily pull out your switch. With these original Nitro decks, when you push it out, you got to hold on to like the edge of the Switch, I found out, and then pull it out. It's easy enough. You can't just pull it out from the middle or anything. It doesn't pop out anyway, in any way, shape, or form. But like I said, I found out if I pull from the side, it'll come out nice and easily, so I don't have a real problem with it, but some people might. I haven't used any of the features like the charge because it has a HDMI. It has a not HDMI. It has a USB-C input and output on this device. So basically, if you want to plug your power source into the one and then output for your TV or whatnot on the other, you can do that. I haven't utilized that yet, and I was wondering, and I was going to test this out, but I just haven't done it yet. I don't know. It's just laziness. I'm just going to say laziness because I was supposed to do it for the video review of it. But I was wondering if I plug this in via USB-C to HDMI out, I wonder if I would be able to play like the game off this screen and on the TV screen in front of me and utilize that as like a dual screen kind of thing. Like some people want it for that Mario Maker too. I doubt that's the thing. I doubt that's what would happen, but that is something I was thinking about, but I'm pretty sure that's a no-go right there because I'm betting it's like, oh, you're docked into this, so that means we're going to turn off the Switch screen and you're going to only see it on your screen on your TV. So maybe I can understand that as well, but I don't know. I wish you could have a dual screen that way, and Nintendo should allow you to do that because it's like, well, I can do it with my Asus ROG Ally and everything, just have a dual screen, just have screen here and mirror it on the TV. Then you can do your doodling on the screen and people could see it on TV. That'd be pretty cool. But it's Nintendo. They're Nintendo. They're the Apple of the video game world. They do what Nintendo does. Anywho, there's a newer version of this coming out. It is going to cost more for it. I got this at a deep discount when it was really, because this was around the announcement for the new Nitro deck. So they put them on a deep sale on Amazon. That sale is over already, but you still can get a lot of money off of it. At the time, I only paid $64.32 for it, around $65, $64.32 with tax. So around $65 for this device. But now it's back up to $89.99 for the device if you want to purchase one of these original Nitro decks. Like I said, the newer Nitro deck is a bit more expensive, but like I said, I didn't like it because of the side controls. I thought that would be getting in my way maybe, but it does look a lot thinner and stuff, and it looks nice and all. And they say it has a lot of different features, and the rumble's a lot better and stuff. They were talking about a lot of stuff on the new Nitro Deck Plus, so you might want to check out their little video commercial on YouTube as well. But like I said, this is $89.99 right now, and that goes for, I guess, all the Nitro decks. Don't quote me on that because it could change from day to day on Amazon. But it also has a coupon for $20 off that price, so you could get it cheaper. That does make it cheaper. So they have a $20 coupon that you can apply to this $89.99 to make this Nitro deck cheaper. And then if you include free shipping and stuff, it's good. Like I said, I got it at a time where it made it really cheap, so. But it's a great device. This is the first gen device. I like it. It gets it so I can play portably again and not just on the TV and using my my Pro controller. I want to play games portably again, and especially in the future when I want to play Legend of Zelda, not Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom and all those other games that I still haven't played on my Switch yet. This is going to be nice because then I could take this outside and play it. When it's darker outside because the Switch is still not bright enough for outdoor use most of the time. But anyways, I'll still be able to play the Switch. I don't have to utilize my Joy-Cons anymore and get them, those stick drifts anymore. Like I said, the controls are very solid on this thing, at least to me. As a gamer, I'm a very forgiving gamer when it comes to controls and stuff, so you might vary on what you might think about it, but to me, these controls are very solid, they're very nice, and playing games on using this Nitro deck has been really good. And the fact that Nintendo might not be bringing out a new Switch until 2025, they might announce a new Switch this year, but they won't bring it out to 2025. That means you got another year to play with your Switch if you want to. And like I said, who doesn't want to? I bought my Switch day one. This is still my day one original Switch, people. And I still have it till this day. So that tells you something. Tells you that Nintendo hardware lasts a long time. But yeah, highly recommend it. And like I said, this carrying case, that was worth the money already. Because you remember carrying cases for the Switch back when it first came out, and I think there still are some cases that are like that. A case like this would be like $30-something itself. It's like a $30 case for this nice hard, nice fabric case with the nice handle and all, and the zippers, and even has like a little plastic latches that you can like get a bag handle on it and stuff. That would cost like $30 on its own for just the case. So basically, you're getting the Nitro deck and this carrying case with all the little goodies inside. I think $89.99 is still not a bad price, and especially right now, still $20 off on Amazon. Boy, am I selling for this company or what? No, I don't have any affiliations with this company. I'm just saying this Nitro deck is pretty cool for somebody like me that wants to play more of my Switch down the road and not worry about the Joy-Cons and stuff. So, and having this one of this retrograde nostalgia retro deck, I think that's a pretty good thing. So you might want to check it out and check out my video. Then you can see more of it and check out the Nitro deck video on YouTube for the Nitro Deck Plus, because maybe you want those extra buttons and the slimness and stuff like that. Like I said, the only thing that I had a little bit of a problem with is just that it uses NFC if you want to utilize more of the controls and change up a lot of the settings inside the Nitro deck. That's the only thing that kind of bothered me a bit. Otherwise, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good device, and I'll update you guys more down the road if something breaks on it or something happens with the original Nitro deck. But so far, solid device. Okay, I think it's time we get into talking about some games here, some video games in general, and then we'll get into the games news. And then we'll end this podcast on a 3-hour mark or something, I'm thinking. So we're going to talk video games, meaning the video games that I have played in the past week so far. One in general that I've been playing most of course, you know that is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So that is going to come up next, and I'm going to take some water while this song plays.
The games that have been played in the past week.
That's a good game.
Enjoy your gaming.
I had to add that in. I had The Rock and that other guy talking a little bit later. I don't have them in the original thing, so I got to actually push them in later. Not a big deal, but hey, I do it. So, games that I've been playing in the past weeks. Now, note, I've been playing a lot of my games on the ROG Ally because, of course, PC in your hand, ROG Ally has been really running really good, and I've been loving that thing. I can't speak. It's almost been a year with my ROG Ally, and I just, and I know I got to do that updated video. I'm going to be doing my 1 year in with the ROG Ally video coming up. June is coming up. And it's almost been a year, and that ROG Ally has just been nothing but yumminess for me throughout the whole year of playing games on that sucker. Now, no, I've been playing a lot of games on my PC as well, but sitting down, being able to play games on my ROG Ally, oh my God. Gaming on the go, people. With PC games and stuff like that. And Xbox Game Pass on my ROG Ally. Ooh. Achivo City. Can't beat nothing about it. I'm telling you, I am one spoiled motherfucker. But I pay for everything. I make money. I pay for it. I might not make any money doing these podcasts and videos for you guys, but I just do that for my fun hobby, for my lifelong hobby. But anyways, when I get paid from work and elsewhere, I put some money aside and whatnot, and have enough money that I can go and buy my fun, like Steam Nitro decks and ROG allies and stuff, and have my fun in one of the most expensive hobbies out there right now. And boy, being able to play AAA games on the ROG ally, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, just sweetens that deal. Sweetens that deal a lot. So, been playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, as you know. Still doing the game stream. We're on chapter 10 of 14. I've been milking it a bit. Been doing a lot of side stuff. But, every Friday I try to do a good bit of chunk of story. We're at a point now where I was doing some more story, but then I'm like, well, I gotta also do some grinding to get these other guys, because we went back from Hawaii. We went back to Injincho, Japan with Kiryu and friends, and I had to level them up because they were like only level 35s and stuff at the time. I already got them all up to level 52. Don't quote me on that. I think they're at level 52 right now as I'm speaking on this podcast. Yeah, I brought them up some levels, and the dungeon on Injincho, Japan opened up. The dungeon that they got there, the dungeon crawling and to level your people up and all that, earn more money, a lot of money. That's opened up, and I've been running the bases over there as well, and I'm going to do more of that after I get done with podcasting today. It's been really good. It's been such a fun game. Long game, fun game. But like I said, we got 4 chapters left. The story's been amazing. I've just been milking every aspect of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth as I can. Even though I haven't been doing any of that Sujimon stuff, and I haven't been doing any of the Dondoku Island stuff. I should try to get back in the Dondoku Island stuff at least. But with the Sujimon and the Dondoku Island stuff, I can do those anytime. I'll just have a special save on the side, so when I complete the game, I can leave that stuff to the side, and I'll have a lot of stuff unlocked, so when I get back into that stuff with the Sujimon and Dondoku stuff, I can just do that just for side stuff fun, just to utilize that stuff and whatnot. But as of the time of this talking, oh boy, I just been grinding, having fun, doing social links. It's just a lot of fun. And I did it when I did my video for this Wednesday. It's a lot shorter because I had time constraints, of course. Life gets in the way. I had dinner on the stove and in the oven. I had to get it was basically almost ready. I had chores, lots of chores. When you own a home, got chores, got stuff to do. Even when you rent, you got a lot of chores and stuff to do, I'm sure. But stuff to do, stuff that gets in the way. So I got in like 2 hours I did a dungeon grind. I did some extra side stuff. We did some social linking. So I did some stuff in it. It's not the longest, but, And then when Friday comes up, we'll do a nice long stream of me doing more story-based gameplay and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a hoot and a holler. Now, something that I found out about before we get on to the next game, I did not know about this because I don't think this happened in the last game, because we didn't really have switching between 2 different sets of people in the last game where you get to bring items over to your other friends. Like in the last Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon game, Yakuza 7, what was it, 7? 7? Yes. Yakuza 7, we'll call it. We didn't have where you got 2 groups, where you got the Kiryu group and Ichiban group. They didn't do that since the original Yakuza games, where you had, you could play as Majima, and you play as Majima for a bunch of stories, and then you play as Kiryu, and then you play as Majima, where they did that, where they brought the stories together. This time they did it with this JRPG, and they carry stuff over, like items, your money, stuff like that. I was too dumb and naive to understand that also your weapons were carried over to your new group in a way. So if you did anything like changed them up, sold those weapons. And here's the problem. This is more on Ride Goku Studios. This is on them for this. I'm not going to say it's on me 100%, even though it is my fault and I should have paid attention better. It's on them as well, because what I found out, and I found out a little too late, but it wasn't a big deal, but I'll tell you, I found out a little bit too late, that your weapon set from your people, from your other people, from Ichiban and crew, well, except for Ichiban. For some reason, the Hero Bat does not carry over. I don't know why. But all the other weapons carried over with their stats, with all that stuff. But it didn't show that those weapons were owned by those people. Those were blank. Then I found out when I went back to Kiryu, because it wasn't the Kiryu ones and stuff. It was basically, no, it was the Kiryu ones. It was Kiryu's and everybody else's weapons that got lost or deleted or sold, I should say, or transformed into other weapons. Because the Ichiban and crew had their weapons, and I didn't know when Kiryu and crew on the other end, I didn't know their weapons were in there because it didn't show it was their weapons. You know what I mean? So when I went back with Kiryu and people in Jincho in Japan, I looked up, I'm like, wait, where's all their awesome weapons I had? How come they got crappy weapons? I'm looking, I'm like, where did all the weapons go? And I'm like, oh shit. Those were their weapons, and I sold them or changed them into other weapons for the other group. I didn't know those carried over. So both groups and their weapons carry over. So when you go from one place to another in the story, in those lands from Hawaii to Japan, that also carries over. And the problem is, they don't tell you really that. They don't warn you, like you're clicking on it to change it up or sell it or whatever. It doesn't go warning. This is actually owned by another person, which they should do. Listen up, Ride Goku Studios, Sega over there. Maybe do this for the next one. Maybe make it so you give a little warning saying, hey, this is basically owned by your other party members on the other side or whatnot. This is somebody's actual weapon. Which I don't understand why it just didn't show, because it also shows, if somebody has this weapon or something, it shows their picture and all that and who owns it and stuff. It didn't show none of that. So that might be a little glitch or something. I don't know. Maybe a little bug in the game or whatnot. Maybe it's just not something that is supposed to happen. But I was like, oh, shit. I was with Kiryu and them. I'm like, oh, I got crappy weapons with these guys because they don't have anything because I did something with their weapons in Hawaii, and I'm like, shit. So when I found this out, it wasn't too bad of a problem because at that time I have tons of money. I have infinite wealth of money, hence probably the name Infinite Wealth, why they call this game Infinite Wealth, because you can get infinite wealth because you just grind these dungeons and they give you millions and millions of dollars and stuff easily and items. And so I have a chunk of money, so I just spent big chunks of money on really good weapons for Kiryu and the crew, and I upgraded their weapons really as much as I could, so they got really badass weapons, and then I upgraded them in the group, and I'm like, okay, thank God. And then I made crystal clear sure that I would not tamper with anybody else's weapons or anything or items, so I had to look and be really more cautious this time around because I did not know that they didn't separate the people's weapons in the game between the two gaming groups. That is something you might want to know if you haven't played this game or if you're still early on and you haven't gotten into multiple groups yet. Maybe check that out and be very cautious on that. Unless if they fix that, if Ride Goku Studios is listening to this, maybe fix that. Because that seems like a bug or interesting problem. And maybe I should have known that going forward, but I didn't. I didn't think about that. No, I knew all the items and the money transferred over, which I was like, well, this is weird. Why don't we just get separate money and items unless if we come together or something, or we do a special exchange? I never understood how that is even possible. Like, oh, I got all this stuff. This is what Itchy got. all this money and all these items. Now I can bring it over with Kiryu and them. And then when I go back to Hawaii, now Ichiban and the crew have all these items and weapons and stuff. It makes it very interesting on how to do your resource management within the game, because you're like, okay, sometimes you get stuff that you can't get from on Hawaii that you can get from in Jinshu, Japan, and then vice versa. You can't get a bunch of stuff that is only in Hawaii in Japan unless if you have them in your items. Very, very interesting. And you can't just go to Japan or to Hawaii anytime you want either. It's just, which kind of sucks. They should have been this time around where I'm like, oh, I could buy a plane ticket to Hawaii anytime I want to go to Hawaii. Just do my side stuff there and level up. Nah, you gotta stay in your own place. But little small issue, not too big, little small issue, but very fun. The game is progressing. I will be sad, like I said, when the game ends. Even though I'm going to start playing more of the original, I'll probably go on to playing, like I said, I still got to do some Danduku Island and some of the, Sujimon crap. But mainly I'll be playing like Yakuza, what's it called? Yakuza Kiwami 2. That'll be my next Yakuza game. Going back to the originals again and playing them one more time through the whole series again. I'll be going back to that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I got plenty of Yakuza games. I like to go back. I want to go back into the past and play those games one more time, earn achievements, and have fun with them again one more time. Because those are fun games, but yeah. And then by the time when I'm done with this and done with some more Yakuza games and other games, I'm sure they'll announce another Yakuza game or even a Judgment game down the road. I hope maybe they'll go back and give Judgment another try with the third one. I heard the second one didn't do as good. I don't know. Didn't hear too much about that one. I like Judgment 2, or what is it called? What was it called? Judgment. I forgot what the second Judgment game was called. Was it Return to Judgment. It's on the tip of my tongue. But it was the second Judgment game. I want a third Judgment game. I want Yagami and Kato and the crew back. Which some of the crew from the Judgment games were in Infinite Wealth. They're the two two of the guys were there. And I'm like, ooh, crossover. I even said that. I'm like, ooh, crossover, Yagami Detective Agency plus over here. Well, those two weren't a part of the Yagami Detective Agency. They were part of their own Jincho Detective Agency group. But they're still the Judgment people. And then we had Kaito back in the one part too. So I have high hopes that maybe the Judgment guys might come back for a third game, which I would love. And I would love to be able to play on my ROG Ally as well. Day one. I'd definitely buy it, purchase it on Xbox, play it on my ROG Ally, and have some fun with the Judgment. Also, I've been playing and tampering a little bit with, and I only played a few hours of this. I played and started playing some Grim Fandango on my PC. Grim Fandango Remastered on my PC. It's a clicker-based game. Click, move, search. Just like how Full Throttle was. This is in the early days of the Lucasfilm Games group, or the Psychonauts people over there at Double Fine. They're the ones that re-brought these games out and remastered them and put them back out for sale. So I've been dabbling a little bit in the Grim Fandango things. It seems okay. I haven't gotten too far into the game, but I just wanted to test it out, try it out, see what it was like. It seems pretty funny. It's interesting. Death is not really deaf, and he's a part of many other deaths that is trying to sell like funeral packages and stuff. Like you're like one of those travel agencies, and you're trying to sell the best packages to people to get them to go to the afterlife or something. Seems kind of interesting. And he's stuck with all the bums. This guy, Grim Fandango, he's stuck with all the bum clients and stuff, which they can't afford any of the packages or the Suprema packages. And he's got to give them the shitty packages. And he wraps the one guy up in bubble wrap and stuff. It has got a little humor to it. It seems like a good game. I'm going to be playing more of that eventually. I just wanted to start it up and play a little bit and test it out the one day because I wanted to get some third-party games played for my other achievements, for my Xbox rewards achievements list. I know you got to play like some indie, what do they call it? They call it Game Pass games. There you go. Then I've been dabbling on and off with some Palworld. I haven't been playing too much into Palworld because I played a lot of Palworld. And of course, like I said, I've been playing a lot of other stuff like a Dragon Infinite and stuff. So it's been getting in my way of my Palworld playing. Eventually I'll get back into playing more Palworld. But right now I've just been getting in there, going a little bit and expanding my areas of inside the Palworld world, catching a few more pals, doing a few more things at the base, but nothing really to talk about yet. But Palworld, it's still Palworld. I think it had a few updates. I don't know what those were, but Palworld still works. It keeps saying when I get on there, then when I get onto my game save, it says multiplayer off, and I'm like, okay, why is multiplayer off? But not that I care because I'm not gonna play this game multiplayer wise anyways, but I'm like, that's kind of weird. It has multiplayer off and it's in red on the side. It's like multiplayer off. I'm like, okay, as long as I still get the achievements, if I ever get any more achievements, because it takes a little while to get some achievements in Palworld, or I could keep saving. I don't mind about multiplayer off because I'm not playing this game in multiplayer. Also been playing some Persona 3 Reload. I was trying that out. I've been playing that a little bit on my ROG Ally, seeing how well that game is. It's interesting. I like it when you put a gun to your temple and you pull a bullet in your head and out comes a Persona. I thought the whole ripping your mask and your face off, or basically face off in the 5th Persona game was interesting. What did Persona 3 Golden do? I don't even remember. I don't think, did we do anything to our bodies in that game? Did we shoot ourselves? Did we cut off a finger? I forgot. What was Golden? Shoot. Oh, I would look this up, but I don't feel like looking it up now. I'm just gonna have to remember this after the podcast. But shoot, I don't know what happened in Persona 3 Golden or Persona 4 Golden. Sorry, I said 3. I meant Persona 4 Golden. Shoot, what did he do in that to summon his personas? I don't remember. But this one, you shoot yourself with a gun. It seems interesting. It seems darkish. I didn't really get too much into it. Just been doing a little dungeon crawling, doing a little bit of this and that, just getting the feel for it. It seems like a solid game. They still want $70 for this game. I think it's on sale now. It said in an email to me, oh, one of your games is on sale on your wish list, and it said Persona 3 Reload's like down to $60-something, and I'm like, still too much for a remake for this game. Now, note it's a great game and all, but I think when it goes down to 30, I'll buy it. If it's not at 30 by the time it gets off a Game Pass, I'll just wait. It's not like I have to play it right away. I still got Persona 4 Golden to play. I still got Persona 3, the original Persona 3 game on my ROG Ally that I purchased for $30, I think it was, or $30. So I still have the original version of it because I heard you could be a female character in that one. So I could just go ahead and play that one and then play Reload later. I don't know. Even though I hear Reload's a lot better than that, I don't know. They got both their interesting things, but I watched the anime again, the Persona 5 anime over the weekend. That was always a kick in the holler, hoot and a holler. I wonder what they're going to do for Persona 6. Very interested. A lot of people are A lot of people are. But I hear they're doing some interesting things, and I wonder if they're going to have an anime where I can purchase and watch for Persona 6. That'd be fun. Persona. Very long RPG, turn-based RPG that's very long and you got to be very invested in that. That's why I haven't been in Persona 4 Golden, because it's just so much to do in that. I should really get back into that. I shouldn't be playing Persona 3 Reload. I should really be playing and finishing up Persona 4 Golden. I almost got up to the point where I left off the one time that I just stopped playing it because I was stupid. But I got to get back into that. It's just so many games. Like I said, so many games still in the backlog. It's hard to go forward to new games, or go back to those games when you got new games coming out. So when the game drought comes again, I got plenty of stuff to play still. And then finally, on my journey of playing games for the couple weeks, I've been getting back into and playing this a bunch. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy on the I said PC. I should say ROG Ally. I haven't been really playing it on the PC. It's the ROG Ally, so I got to put ROG Ally on here. Even though it is a PC, basically, but it's a ROG Ally. Been getting back into that a little bit. I said I would. Took me longer than I should have. But the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy is just the Ace Wright games. Those individual games are very, 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 very long and in depth with everything from the story, from what to do, a lot of side stuff to do. Holy shit, those games are long. It takes a long time to beat like one case, one story. They're long. This is a long game. I just completed last night just one thing. I just did one whole trial. One single trial in that one story. Now I got to go and do an investigation. Or no, is it a trial? Or is it another trial? I forgot. Maybe it's another trial and then another investigation. And then it's going to be another trial. And it just keeps going for that one thing. It's so much stuff. But it's fun. I like watching it. I know I already watched the anime of all of it, but I like the gameplay of it. It's very unique. And it's long. So if you want something long, and I know these games came out originally on like the DS or something. Is that the original place that these Phoenix Wright's attorney games came out on? It was the DS, right? That was the first time I seen these games. And now that they're on PC, Xbox, and all, it's like, wow, so much stuff. But that was the final game I played. It was a bunch of games. It always is. It's always a bunch of stuff to play. And, so little time to play everything in. Now let's get into finally, then we can wrap up this podcast into the games news. We do got a lot of games news, but I can get through these news stories quite quickly-ish. We'll just run down through these stories. And, so the games news talk next now. Let's just get into it.
The games news from the past week.
You know what I always had a trouble with? And this has been going on forever, so I don't know if I'm ever going to change my spots on this. I always have a hard time, the hardest to most impossible time ever, folks, in getting these podcasts down to shorter podcasts. I'm not good at making short podcasts. My podcasts go from 2 to 3+ hours all the frickin' damn duty time because I'm stupid like that. Because I just keep talking and ranting and talking. This is good for you people that just like to listen to me talk and complain and talk about video games all the time. But some people probably just want me to do shorter podcasts. And believe me and you, my throat says to me all the time after I do this podcast, after I just got done doing a game stream on Friday, a game recording on Saturday. That would be the 2+ hours on Saturday. And now I'm doing a 2+ hour podcast on Sunday for Monday. Yeah. And note, I don't make no money from any of this stuff. It's all a hobby. It's all my fun. My voice is going to blow one of these days. But I do it for you, and I do it for me because I like to talk, and I like to talk about games, and I like to play games. So it's my fault. And trust me, if I wanted to make money from any of this stuff, I would. But for right now, like I said, I am just fine doing this all as a fun hobby. I have a full job on this. I got a job until I retire. I don't know. Like I said, I still might want to sell merch, but I have to have time to draw up designs for more merch and stuff. I'm thinking I want to get something for my anniversary, my 1-year OldFreakyGamer anniversary, which is coming up in June. That's when I started OldFreakyGamer, even though I was doing this for a lot longer because I did it on my old multi-network called the GG2cast.com, which is still up, at least until June. That's all going down in June, and I should talk more about that. But I might talk more about that in the next podcast because I don't want to keep ranting. But I got an anniversary coming up in June. I should make like a new t-shirt to wear and stuff. Maybe a 1-year anniversary t-shirt or something for myself. But yeah, something more than this. You know, this is my original Old Freaky Gamer shirt. If you're watching on the video portion of this cast, or if you just look at the logo, that's mine. My whole design. It's only my design. Now I got to figure out how to put this shirt back on the chair. Why am I not wearing my shirt? Well, sometimes it gets a little hot in here, even in the wintertime, and I got a computer and lights running and stuff, and I just wanted to wear my muscle shirt today, show off my muscles, and be a little cooler and not sweat at the end of this. But yeah, I got to get that. I got to get a t-shirt and stuff going for June for my 1-year anniversary of Old Freaky Gamer. Now, no, I will not be selling any of the merch, but I will wear it for all you guys to be pleased to see on the show and stuff. Maybe I'll make 2 t-shirts. I'll see if I can if I can design and put up 2 t-shirts for myself. Like I said, I do this all by myself, my own self. You try doing all this stuff yourself, and you tell me how it all goes. So for the games news, let's get into the games news. Rockstar Games is asking employees, just like a lot of the other workforce in the world, to return to the office. And they say this because they're worried about GTA security concerns, or basically because, you know, that little game called GTA 6 is in its final stages of development, and they really don't want any more leaks or problems happening, which I can fully understand. And I'm going to say some unpopular things here in a moment, but basically, and I'll say this after the story. So basically, Rockstar is making some changes as GTA 6 enters the final stages of development. Bloomberg states that reports that Rockstar Games is asking employees to return to the office 5 days a week come April. One of the reasons the developers entering the final stages of development on the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 game, and they are worried about security breaches because they didn't have enough of those before. They sent a staff an email sent on Wednesday. Jen Colby, Rockstar head of publishing, stated the decision was made to increase productivity and security measures, which makes 100% sense. Because you remember the leak of September 2022 and all the other leaks and everything else. She also stated was the company has found tangible benefits from having staff work in person. Okay, that makes complete sense, and I will say my business in a little bit. Making these changes now puts us in the best position to deliver the next Grand Theft Auto at the level of quality and polish we know it requires, along with a publishing roadmap that matches the scale and ambition of the game because it's been in works for a very long time. Yes, Rockstar isn't the first studio to implement return to office protocols. Last September, a report stated that Ubisoft employees were fuming over what they called broken promises in regards to the studio's return to office mandate. Plus, plenty of games have been developed remotely successfully. Yes, including Marvel Spider-Man 2. But don't forget, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is super expensive, and it took a long time to make, and it was super expensive. So how well did that work remotely, to be honest? Which they said blew past 10 million copies sold. Let's see here. Rockstar has claimed that the leaks probably didn't hurt them, but they seem awfully tired of the leaks. And yes, a lot of people say, hey, the people and I'm reading some comments here. One person says it's the problem that people become spoiled. Everyone was perfectly fine with working in the office prior to the COVID. This is a company that makes billions anytime they release a game. Set the standard. Either return to the office or work elsewhere. There won't be a lack of people wanting to work. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, housing prices in the main cities, urban areas have skyrocketed and are out of control. Working remotely can fix that problem because people don't need to live or commute. Yeah, I can see that, but here's the thing. Here's my point, and it's going to be unpopular to a lot of people, especially work-at-home people. Before the whole COVID thing, which brought in the most work-at-home things, here's the thing. I never worked at home. Even during COVID, I worked at a job. I went to a job all the way through during the whole big bullshit COVID thing, and I'm still working at a place now at my new job. Nothing has ever changed for me. I've been doing the same thing I've always done pre, post, and after COVID. And a lot of people got really, let's just say, crate trained into the stay at home, work from home, do this. You can do everything from home. You don't have to leave anywhere. You don't have to meet or see people. Now, sure, I would love not to see or meet certain people at my job, but still, going somewhere sometimes is a good thing for people. It's a good thing. And I know a lot of people hate that. And for the games industry, and this is including like the films industry too, you shouldn't be able to work at home. If you're making a big, giant project like a Grand Theft Auto or any games, and you got many people working on a project, it's a lot better if you guys are in the same building and offices together working on said game where you got people that can actually watch you and you're not doing stupid things and accidentally getting your kids leaking stuff or otherwise other things being leaked out. Because, even with all the security and stuff that you can do for remote people working, still people are not that smart when it comes to security, especially in their own homes, especially securing data and stuff. All these security breaches all over the world with all this stuff from bank accounts, this and that. That's just because people aren't security minded or focused. And this is your average, everyday Joe Schmo. I always was the person that always felt, yes, they should be working in an office because you're making a big game. You need to collaborate with a lot of people. You're doing a lot of things, and doing it remotely, it's harder to collaborate. You got to call up someone. You got to remote connect to somebody. You got to go on what is it? It's not Skype. It's Teams or whatever they use. What was that other online video thing? You got to do video calls. You're not there directly with them. You got to send them like videos or pictures and stuff. It's a lot more difficult and it takes a lot more time, even if you get it down just right. Like the people they said at Insomniac made Spider-Man 2 all remotely. It costs add up because that means the game development takes a bit longer because even if you're working from home, how much work are you really doing? And I know a lot of people will cuss the hell out of me and say, oh, no, people work harder at home than they do in the office, blah, blah, blah. I beg to differ on that. If nobody's watching over you, and I'm sorry to say it, but that's what bosses are for. If people can't be there directly to watch over you, to tell you, hey, you got to do this or fix that, you're going to be left to your own devices. And a lot of people aren't good at being by themselves, left to their own devices in the world. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people that are not good at doing things by themselves on their own. That's not what everybody can do. That's why jobs have always been going to offices, working in an office, doing stuff. And I can understand that some people just don't like that because either they're scared or they're used to being at home. Shit, like I said, I love my house. I love being at home. But I do go out time from time, doing stuff, whatnot, doing outside stuff. And I do go to a job to work at a job. And if they're having security issues, just like Rockstar's been having, because certain employees aren't locking down their shit or whatnot at home, and it has taken longer to make this game remotely than to make the game in an office. Because I think, and I'm not a game developer, but I would bet if people were in the office making this game, I bet you it would take a lot less time to make this game. Plus, cleaning up bugs, polishing up stuff, and getting the game made cheaper would be cheaper to do it from an office instead of at a home, because then they don't have to buy people extra computers for their homes to do this, get big professional. They don't have to pay for internet. They don't have to do all this other stuff. They could be in an office where they supply all that stuff. And, not all these offices are just hellhole workplaces. They probably make it a fun atmospheric place for people to work and make games to be creative in anyway. So I find no problem of them asking employees, please return to the office. And for people that said, it was that they were going to originally keep people remote and then eventually bring them back into the office, it's like, well, don't make promises that you can't keep. Like for Ubisoft, you shot themselves in the foot because they said they're promising, you guys could keep remote working, and then it's like, maybe you should come back to the office. People get pissed off on it, but you know what? People are getting spoiled. People are working, I would think, less than they would in an office, because you're there, you're clocking in, you're doing your job, then you clock out and you go home. That's what I would do. That's what I do. I go to a place, I do my job, I clock out, I go home. I have something to look forward to. If I'm still in my house and I'm working, I could just go, wait, look at this. I could play with this a little. I got this game on here. You got all this stuff. You got all your stuff there that can keep you busy, and you can not focus and zero out. As human beings, we're not good. Most of us are not good at being in our own devices, to do our own thing by ourselves when it comes to job-related activities. It's just a fact. And a lot of these, and you could say Gen Zers, I'll say anybody, most people out there, a lot of people have a hard time like, I like to be at home. Why should I have to go to work at all? I should make money and doing basically nothing. That notion's been going around lately where people just want to do less and make more money, and I don't ever feel like that's a good thing. I think that's a slippery slope for the industry and industries and people out there that continue to do this, where less work, more money, less doing things, not always the best thing. But that's my 2 cents. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for it, but I think it's Rockstar. It's in their best. It's the best thing that they could do. Say, come on, people, get back to work. We're going to come back to the office. Don't worry. It's going to be good here. We're going to make this awesome game. We're going to get this damn game out already. People are going to be happy. Come back. I know you got to travel. People don't like to travel. I hate to travel. That's why my job isn't too far away from my house. But hey, you did it before, you can do it again. And it gives you a little incentive to get it dressed, go outside, smell some fresh air once in a while, go out to the real world, and be in the real world. So there you have it. And I hope Grand Theft Auto 6 is good. I hope it's a good game. We'll find out next year? Not this year, next year. And I don't know if I reported this the last time, but we'll talk about it again. Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, the thing that still hasn't been shown or even really announced by Nintendo in actuality, has reportedly or rumored to be delayed till March of 2025 of next year due to part of combat scalping. So basically, rumored has it that Nintendo is holding back the Nintendo Switch 2 launch till next year of March 2025 because they want to get more of these Switch 2 consoles made. So basically, they want to make or get in production more Switch 2s so they can have more product out for sales. Plus, I heard also maybe some first-party game studios wanted some more time to get their games ready for the next console launch and stuff, which makes some sense. So if Nintendo thinks it's a better idea to release the Switch in 2025, that means we all get another year of our beautiful Switches. And nobody should be in any, nobody should be disappointed in this. Some people are still saying they'll still have a Nintendo Direct this summer, showing off the Nintendo Switch 2. Like, they'll do their little thing, their Nintendo Switch Direct for the Switch 2 this summer. I don't know. I think they should do it. Well, if there's January, February, March. I think they should do it in January of 2025. I know people would still dislike what I'm saying here, but I don't think they should do it too soon. I think they should wait till it's almost ready to be launched, but give enough time for retailers and people to set up and get prepared for launches. But what would hurt if they said in January or even December, January, saying, hey, we're announcing the Switch 2. It's coming out in March. Get ready. It's almost here. Here's all the games. Here's what the Switch 2 is all about. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're going to announce it and talk about it and, at least tease about it this summer. I would think so. And maybe announce some games that are going to be coming for the Switch 2 this year in a Nintendo Direct or something. Announce what you'll be looking forward to in the next Switch, whatnot. But also say, hey, we're still going to support the original Switch, so don't worry, guys. You could still get games. There'll still be games being made for the original Switch, so do not worry. Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, until Nintendo actually announces that there's a Switch 2, I don't believe there's a Switch 2 yet. I believe there's something in the making, in the works. I believe there's going to be some cool games for it, but till they announce it, I don't care. And if that's the whole reason they're doing this and they're going to make more Switches and they're going to have a bigger launch lineup and stuff and they're going to sell a shit ton of product on day one, well, it's going to be good on Nintendo. That's going to be a smart decision. Because it's been pretty difficult to make extra hardware and ship it out to the States and everywhere else lately because China and everybody else has been still in a rut in making technology. So fully understand. I'm not too worried about it because I probably won't buy a Nintendo Switch 2 until the OLED version gets announced and comes out because reportedly it's supposed to be another OLED version. Bigger screen maybe, but still OLED or still regular OLED and not a high res. Or wait, it's supposed to be a LCD. Sorry. It's supposed to be a LCD version first. I want an OLED version because it's better contrast, better battery life, better looking screen all in general, but I'll wait. Nintendo did have a February Direct. That was a little bit ago. And they did announce some games in their partner showcase here, like Endless Ocean, Epic Mickey Rebrushed, Super Monkey Ball, Banana Royal, Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. Of course, the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection from Aspyr. Suka Game Multiplayer Mode from Aladdin X. A Ranger, a role puzzling adventure. Okay. Ender, Mongolia, Bloom in the Mist, Sword Art Online, Fractured Daydream, and did I pass something by? Gundam, there's a Gundam game, hold on. Gundam Breaker 4, Grounded from Microsoft, of course. Pentiment from Microsoft, or both from Obsidian Entertainment, but still Microsoft. Those are two of your 4 games that everybody was freaking out about. Oh my God, Microsoft games coming to another platform. Penny's Big Breakaway, Monster Hunter Stories, Pocket Card Jockey, Ride On, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals, Pepper Grinder, Unicorn Overlord, Kingdom Come Deliverance, South Park Snow Day, World of Goo 2, Another Crab's Treasure, Snufkin, Melody of Moonin Valley, Tales of Zenzaria Zao, Demon Slayer, Kemsinsu no Yayabia, I can't even say that, Contra, Operation Galaga, Blast Corps from Rare, the original Blast Corps. Oh, I bet you some of these are from I bet you a lot of these are from the Super Nintendo collection. Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, RC Pro-Am, Snake, Rattle, and Roll. So those are some games. And Killer Instinct. That's also a game. Killer Instinct 94, not the new Killer Instinct, 94. Those were the Switch Classics games as well. So yeah, they announced some games. Nothing I really care about. Nothing I'm really big onto. You know, like I said, I'm going to get the Star Wars Battlefront collection Classic Collection for Xbox. Maybe when it's like $5 or something, I'll buy it on the Switch just to have my fun and giggles with the Switch playing of that. But nothing really that tickles my fancy on any of this stuff. Nothing at all. Nothing's really catching my eye here, you know, in game-wise. Maybe some of you guys. But for me, nah. But, anywho, they got a lot of third-party games coming. So this game-wise or not game-wise, you can let yourself figure this out. Microsoft and Intel strike a custom chip deal that could be worth billions of dollars. With the Microsoft deal, Intel notches a big partnership as it seeks to regain its former position at the top of the chip manufacturing. So basically, Microsoft is going to be paying and has designs and is paying Intel, which is going to be doing more foundry stuff for other people instead of just making their own chips because they need to make more money over at Intel. So they're finally opening up, and they're actually opening up and making an Intel foundry here in the United States, some more foundry stuff. And Microsoft's going to invest $15 billion for their own custom chips for Intel to make. And it could be for their own devices, like their Surface tablets and stuff. Of course, AI stuff for accelerators and stuff. I'm also thinking maybe this partnership could also be for new console chips and hardware and stuff, for chips like OC, some chipsets for new gaming consoles maybe down in the future. I don't know. Just thinking, just making a little thought here. I know everybody's working with AMD except for Nintendo, which is working with NVIDIA, but who's to say that Microsoft isn't trying to make a custom chip for like the next version of Windows and the Surface tablets and, of course, like I said, a new gaming console down the road? That could also be in the deal, especially that these chips are going to be on the Intel's 18A process, which are supposed to be like, what, 1.4 nanometers or something like that. It's supposed to be really small. It's supposed to be smaller than 2 nanometers, but I don't know that for sure. At least that's what they're trying to push, at least 2 nanometers or 1.4 nanometers, which is damn small, but could be a new era in chips for consoles. And what does that say about what could happen because it would be going from one chipset to another again? Maybe nothing. Maybe these new chips will be able to handle all the backwards compatibility and stuff even better. Who knows? I don't know. Better power management, better graphics, better all this other stuff, better for gaming in general. We'll see. We'll wait and see if that actually has something to do with future consoles. If they move away from AMD and TSMC and stuff like that. Because don't forget, AMD uses TSMC to make their chips, and TSMC makes chips for everybody. And don't forget, they're in Taiwan. And don't forget, we got problems with China and Taiwan and all that shit. So we're like, maybe try to get some chips made over here eventually so we don't have to be worried about supporting. Not that we don't like Taiwan and all, because they make all the great shit chips and stuff for us. But maybe we got to start doing some production here at home. I don't know. Other news, Xbox news that people will cry about. Xbox head Phil Spencer states Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass, and Microsoft will continue to support physical discs. That's good stuff, because everybody likes Call of Duty. They want Call of Duty on Game Pass. I'll be playing Call of Duty, the next Call of Duty, whatever it is, good or bad, because it'll be on Game Pass. Because you know what? It's free, basically. And then I'll play the single-player mode. I won't touch the multiplayer mode, and I'll just be happy with that. And if they're still supporting physical discs, because people were wondering, because they were laying off a lot of people in their disc division and stuff, in their physical media division, if they're still supporting physical disc, awesome. Awesome. We'll see. That I'll decide if, I'm more going to go more digital now, like I said, depending. But if there's games that only do come to Xbox and they got some good game discs or whatever, special collector's editions. You notice collector's editions have gone the way of the dodo lately, unless if you get the ones without any games in them. I would probably consider buying a physical copy of some games, but as long as I can get these games on both my PC and Xbox and stuff. Or no, digital is easier for me too as well. So I don't know. It's hard to say. For me, I understand. It's not like this. It's not like the Switch where you get those cool cartridges still. Man, imagine if Microsoft and Sony, instead of discs, they went with like memory cartridges, and you just pop them in, and you have all this room on the cartridge, and it has the game on there. And if they want to update the game, they just update the game on the cartridge or something, and then you can use some Xbox hard drive for that as well. I don't know. That would be cool. I don't know. People say that would be more expensive, but I'm like, really? Really? How come I get a micro SD card for like a terabyte for like $40-50 now? Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder why they can't just make stuff on like a micro SD card type of thing, and you can pop that in your console, and you can even download it to your console if you want or whatnot, or you can run it off that little memory card. I don't know. I don't know why they can't do that. Why things gotta be so expensive. See, things get too expensive. But yeah, Call of Duty, folks. And also Call of Duty is still gonna be coming on other platforms like PlayStation and PC and all that. So you guys can go, Microsoft fanboys could go cry, no, we want it only on the Xbox. I'm not like that. But yeah, Call of Duty, folks. I'll be playing the next one. And when they bring the other Call of Duties over, I'll try to play some of them. I want to play just the stories. Like I said, I don't care about the game, the online. It's just I want to play some of the games. Let's see here. Xbox Game Studios announces player counts for its first-party games. So I guess they were talking about how many people are playing their games, and because people are wondering, are people playing Xbox games or not, and blah 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 blah. How many people are playing their games, blah blah blah. Because Sony, they got a lot of people playing their games and blah blah blah. So I guess Microsoft's Xbox Studios said, hey, we got player numbers for these games. Let's show you how many people play these games so you can stop judging us or something. I don't know. Maybe they just want to stop being judged. So Starfield has 13+ million players playing Starfield. Ghostwire Tokyo, and these are all rounded averages, I'm sure, have 6+ million people. Grounded has 20+ million people. Flight Simulator has 12+ million people. State of Decay has 11+ million people. Forza Horizon 5 has 37+ million people. Minecraft Dungeons has 25+ million people, which I'm surprised about because that was okay. But I stopped playing that game. Sea of Thieves, 35+ million people, which will go up when it's on PlayStation and stuff. Fallout 76, 17+ million people. I never liked Fallout 76. Elder Scrolls Online, 24+ million people. I can understand that because I couldn't even get a decent username. That's why I just stopped playing that. I was going to continue to play. I'm like, nah, this game, no. It seemed fun. Seemed like it was very playable, but I'm like, if I can't get a real username on my Elder Scrolls Online, fuck that. I tried everything, and it said nope. So I said nope to that. Halo Infinite, 20+ million players. I'm surprised, because Halo Infinite sucks. Sure, people are probably playing the multiplayer, but 20 million plus, I don't know. That could be a very round number, but I guess they just wanted to show how many people play these first-party games so they could say, hey, we still got a lot of people that play these games, so don't be too worried about us and our games and the player counts. Not that I care. I just want to see more games coming from you guys. Good games. Maybe ones that aren't like Halo Infinite. Let's make a regular Halo shooter game, like a regular Doom shooter game. That's why I haven't played Doom Eternal yet, because I know it's a Doom 2 platforming game. Another thing people were asking, when will you be able to play your own Xbox games via the cloud? Because Phil Spencer and Microsoft and Xbox, I should say, I keep saying Microsoft because it is the parent company, we're teasing this kind of stuff, and Phil Spencer says it's going to come this year. So probably during the summer they'll announce it or something. So Xbox has a cloud gaming service attached to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Using Xbox Cloud Gaming, you can play a selection of a few hundred Xbox games on any supported device without an Xbox console attached. For a long time, Microsoft has stated it wants to bring games you actually own into the service as well, pending negotiations with license holders. So digital games. So every time I buy a digital game, I should be able to play it. Which, you know what? For Game Pass Ultimate, stuff like that, cloud gaming, okay, that'd be cool. How about if I just want to play like via the Game Pass? Like if I want to put the game on my ROG Ally and play it off my ROG Ally, do I have to play it via stream for the game? Okay, I guess. I got good Wi-Fi. It's not like it's a big deal, but I guess that's what people want. A chat between Phil Spencer and an Xbox user suggests that Microsoft is expecting this year to launch the new cloud feature, which they were teasing. I guess people are willing to play these games via the cloud, even their own games that they own digitally, I guess. Which I guess it would be streamed from your Xbox consoles, if I'm not wrong on that. I don't think it's something that you could just purchase digitally as a digital game and it just streams from the cloud. I think it comes from your Xbox, if I'm not too mistaken. But maybe it could come from their servers directly and then they just stream it to you, the game. I don't know. They could sell a lot more games if they can stream it. I don't know. I'm just thinking out of the box here. But for me in general, I don't want streaming games. I just want my games to be on the device. I want to be able to download games like, hey, I want to download 90% of these games that I can't download now onto my ROG Ally and play them on my ROG Ally and earn achievements. Now, yes, sure, I can buy most of these games on Steam or the Epic Store, but I would rather just have like Xbox and Microsoft to actually sell more of these games, talk to these publishers and say, hey, bring these games to this so we can sell them on our PC too, which I don't understand why people, like publishers, don't want to do that anyways, to give people more choice. I know they have deals, like back-end deals sometimes with Steam and Epic and others to just bring certain PC games to certain platforms, certain PC platforms, as I would have to say, or storefronts. But after that deal, why not bring it to everything, to Xbox, PC, and all that stuff? So people like me that want to play the game and get achievements and just get it on my one storefront, I should be able to. But everything's so broken out there. But people complain about, oh, we're not making enough money from our games. Well, put it out on everything. If it's out on everything, you don't have to worry because you got anybody can play it. They can stream it. They can download it. I can download it on my ROG Ally via the Xbox store or whatever store I want to play it on. Then you have no problems. But then you got people like Ubisoft and others, which used to be like Activision Blizzard and stuff. And you got the Epics and other places where they're like, no, we're going to sell it on our own storefronts. No, you want to buy and play this new Assassin's Creed or Skull and Bones or something. The only place you can buy this game and play it on PC is from our Ubisoft store. And who wants to download and use that piece of shit? Especially if you don't get any Xbox achievements for it or something. Now, note, I tie all this into Xbox achievements because I'm an Xbox achievement kind of guy. So, yeah, that's bad on my part. I don't like that. I think it's too fragmented still. And then people wonder, why aren't our games selling as much? Well, because you have it too fragmented out there and you don't have your game out in enough platforms. There you go. Fossil Field 2 is a new dino-filled first-person shooter out now on Xbox Series X and S. I took a quick look at this on YouTube. It looks decent. I think it's like $40, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what they said. It's like 30 or $40. I don't know. It looks okay. I'm going to wait till it eventually comes out on Game Pass. Because this is a kind of a game that will eventually come out on Game Pass. Oh, it says you can buy it on Amazon. How can I buy this on Amazon? Let me take a look at this. I can't buy this on Amazon. You lied. This site lies. This is pure Xbox. You lie. You can't buy on Amazon. Oh, it says buy on Amazon right here, and it goes to nothing. It goes to, nope, we don't have this game on Amazon. But Fossil Field 2, like I said, I don't know the price of it. Let me quickly look it up. Oh, $20. Sorry. A lot cheaper than I thought. It's only $20. So, yeah, it's a decent price for $20 for Fossil Field 2. It looked okay. I watched people play it. It looks still like a game that I'll eventually play when it's only on Game Pass. I don't think I will even play $20 for it, but yeah, it looks like an okay game. $20 game, you can't go wrong for $20, right? And then Helldivers 2. People are calling all bugs, all people from every gamer. Doesn't matter. Gamers, they're saying, are uniting in this one front to release this Helldivers 2 on Xbox. And that's even the PlayStation people. The PlayStation fanboys and the Xbox fanboys came together and they said, you know what? We want Helldivers 2 on both consoles. We want it on PC, which it is on PC. We want it everywhere, even on the Switch. Please bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox so we can bring an end to the console wars and the bugs. Yeah, I heard Helldivers 2 is pretty badass. I thought this game was more going to be... See, when I originally saw Helldivers 2, I thought it was going to be more of you can do a single player and you don't always have to do a multiplayer. But this is more of a multiplayer game. Helldivers 2 as a co-op game in which threats are much bigger. I thought this was going to be like more of a single player, like Earth Defense Force kind of a game, and then I found out it was more of a more of a multiplayer kind of thing. And I was like, no. Hence, because I got no real friends that play games with me. And I just don't care for online multiplayer games. I used to play them. I'm not as fast or strong in multiplayer games anymore. And yeah, but hey, it's nice to know that even fanboys of both the PlayStation and Xbox can come together once in a super, super great infinite while and say, hey, let's bring this game to both consoles. Why is it only on PlayStation? Why don't we have this game on Xbox? Makes sense. It makes sense. Why not? I would agree with them. Why not bring it on Xbox? They sell more copies, and you guys can bring it out and play against each other. I don't know. Yeah. And that was the rest of the game's news. I got nothing else to talk about. And we are already past the 3-hour mark on this fun, long podcast that I got to still edit multiple times because I got to do an audio version and this video version, and I still got to edit and put up my other video that I made of the other episode of Yakuza Like Me. So got some stuff to do still before I get into gaming myself, and it's getting a little late. So everybody, I hope this episode was good. I hope it sounds good. I hope I look decent. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my ranting and talking doesn't weigh you too much. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this podcast. Oh, another quick note, which I keep forgetting about, and I got to put this on here too. I'm back on Twitter, folks. So Twitter, known as X. I'm back on Twitter at OldFreakyGamer. So if you go to Twitter or X, you still type in twitter.com. It goes to X, but it's still Twitter. You type that in, you go at OldFreakyGamer. That's who I am, OldFreakyGamer, or Mr. Mike at OldFreakyGamer. I'm on there. You can get my updates for, upcoming streams, podcasts, videos that I might put up. I'll try to update that as best as possible. So get ready for that stuff. Maybe I'll make some comments on there. I mostly use it just to read some gaming news, but I'm back on there, people. So I'm back on Twitter. So, woohoo! Twitter X. That's why I like to call it. Anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else. The next time I do a podcast, the next podcast, I can't promise anything because, there's always a lot of talk to do and a lot of gaming to talk about and news. I'm going to try to make it a little shorter. I'm going to try really hard to make it a little shorter. I'm not making any promises because, like I said, I always put this out every 2 weeks, these podcasts. So, yeah. But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me here on the GamezAttack podcast. This has been the 24th episode. I'm Mr. Mike. I'm going to sign out saying game on, game hard, world conquest. I'm pushing this gaming button, this show, and I am game over. So everybody.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I
That's a good game.
Enjoy your gaming.